Hello, 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 good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. How is everyone doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Coaches of Influence Foundation Influence Africa Youth Forum in celebration of Africa Day. We are very thrilled and very excited to have you. Thank you for joining us this morning, wherever you are joining us from, whether you are in Africa, whether you are in Asia, whether you are in Europe, whatever continent and country you're joining us from in the world, we welcome you. Welcome to Influence Africa, Youth Forum. Welcome to Coaches of Influence Foundation, Influence Africa Youth Forum in commemoration of International Youth Day. Well, I am here with my co host this morning. I am very privileged to be hosting this event, to be your host today. And with me is a very a fabulous, very savvy, highly respected young man in the personality of Jacob Fernani Mendy. And I'm so excited to have him as my co-host today. Jacob, will you step up and greet our audience? Greet them. They are coming from everywhere. Good morning, hello everyone. Thank you for
Hello.
joining. We are here live, and Jacob,
Wow.
welcome the audience. Thank you.
I'm so excited, Dr. Margaret. Thank you for the opportunity, and to all our viewers, thank you very much for joining us. Right now, what I'm going to tell you, if you are alone on this call, why not reach out to your friends? Tell your friends to join, because this flight is about to take off, and you can't afford to miss all that we have installed for you this afternoon, this morning, this night, anywhere you are connecting from. We are so excited to have you on this call, and I can't really wait. I can't really wait to basically hear from you, because we are going to give you the opportunity to ask questions at the end of the event. So please do stay with us, and tell your friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We are really going to have an exciting time here. Thank you, Dr. Margaret, once again for the opportunity. This is Coaches of Influence Foundation. And in each and every interaction, it's always a great encounter. It's always a great experience. And mind you, if you are for the first time joining us as well, I want to tell you, man, you are not going to leave this event right the same way you came, because we have so much installed for you. Our lined up speaker, our lined up panelists. Oh man, these are just top-notch panelists and speakers. So thank you very much, Dr. Margaret, once again for this opportunity. I'm excited to be on this call with you and the rest of the team. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Have you heard? Did you hear Jacob's greeting? Get ready, fasten your seatbelts. This should be an indication to you that we are about to have the time of our lifetime. This is awesome. Fatima Jawa, I agree. The day is finally here. And call someone. We are about to we have already started. And because we are known at Coaches of Influence Foundation, we have a culture of timeliness. So we have already started. We're not waiting on anybody. But please grab your friend, grab your water, grab your coffee, grab a notepad, grab your gadget. Get ready to take notes. Get ready to be inspired. Get ready to be set on fire, because this is one of the events that you will not forget. This is one thing one event you will not easily forget. So grab somebody. We have started already. Tell someone you are late. Tell someone you should have been here already. You are late. Come on board. But before we go any further, we have a culture, right, Jacob? We have a culture in COIF, a culture of giving honor to God. And yes, in a day like this era today, when God is so minimized, it can even look like an old tradition. It can even offend someone that we are praying before we get started. But we need to help everyone to understand why we pray at COIF, because we believe this is a youth organization where we are raising an army of influencers for global impact. And we believe that leadership cannot be effected effectively without the spirit of leadership. And that spirit of leadership belongs to no one but the creator. And let me tell you something. when a leader is in the seat or a leader is leading from behind, wherever the leader is, whatever spirit is the leader is marinated in is the spirit that speaks in the leader's leadership. So we want to be marinated in the spirit of God. So whatever we do, we may not have to mention his name, but he can be felt, he can be experienced, and he will be responsible for the impact that we make in our leadership. So on that note, at Coaches of Influence Foundation, we boldly declare that we pray. Yes, we pray. And we are about to do just that. So we are about, Jacob, you can welcome our prayer warrior this morning. We have a prayer team at COIF. We have people who pray. We have young people who believe in prayer because they believe in the spirit of leadership that is not of any that is not from any place but from their own creator. So Jacob, you can take it on.
Indeed. Thank you once again, Dr. Margaret. For us to have, the opportunity to just be on this, on this call, this afternoon, this evening, anywhere you are connecting from, it's because there is a creator and he's giving us the life and the strength to be here. So we want to just use this opportunity to just, tell him to have, the control over this event today. So I'm going to call on Simon Kangakan. Simon Kangakan is a staff member at Coaches of Influence Foundation and a respectful youth leader as well. Simon, you're welcome. Can we welcome Simon? Can we welcome Simon?
Thank you so much, Dr. Margaret and Jacob. Shall we kindly take this moment to honor God in prayer? Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for such a wonderful day. Father, we honor you. We give you grace. We give you adoration. We thank you for making us accomplish this wonderful event and celebration, International Youth Day. Father, we know that behind the success of COIF, you are the pillar. You are our strength. You are our advocate. Everything that we are able to do is because of you. The resources, the talents, the opportunities, the favor that you have given us to reach out to the different speakers, to actually come and share their knowledge with the young people across the globe. It's because of you. We thank you for even giving us the life to actually witness this day. We thank you for every good opportunity you have bring to our table. Thank you for everybody that is joining from the different parts of the world. Thank you for giving them the opportunity to connect. Thank you for giving them the resources. Father, thank you for the discussion that is awaiting us in this wonderful celebration. We know that the way that the speakers are loaded, many and many young people will go home inspired. Many and many young people will go home challenged to becoming better people in society. Father, we appreciate you. We thank you for everything that you've been doing within COI. We thank you for the impact that you have allowed COIF to have in the lives of many young people. We give you grace. We give you adoration. We thank you. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed. Amen.
Amen, 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 amen. Thank you very much, Simon, for praying. We really are glad to have you as a youth leader who is so much respected and so much committed to taking the young people to that desired destinations. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. To you, Dr. Margaret.
Thank you, Jacob. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from. Please do let us know where you are tuning in from, which continent, which country are you representing on this platform this morning. We are so glad to have you. Thank you, Jacob. And we want to just Jacob and I want to let you know that you are here at a very reputable platform. This is Influence Africa Youth Forum, and this forum is presented to you by no other than Coaches of Influence Foundation, a youth and women's organization that is raising an army of influencers for intergenerational impact. And I am so honored to serve you as your host this morning. And it's morning where I am. I know maybe it's afternoon for you or evening somewhere. And Jacob I'm so honored to serve alongside a very what do I say, Jacob? I'm even out of words. How do I even describe you? You are becoming indescribable. So I would say I'm here with a very prominent, resilient young. This, by the way, I'm not going to call him a young man. This is my boss. So Jacob, I'm so glad to have you as my boss. Thank you very much. And this is International Day Celebration 2024. And if Jacob, we want to let them know that if they're joining us for the first time, we want them to know that they are in the right place, right, Jacob? Are they not in the right place? Tell them
course,
where
Dr.
they are.
Margaret, of course. There's no other better place. There's no better place than where we are right now. This is the only place to be. And that's the reason why I said, hey, if you are alone on this call, why not call your friend, to call a friend, to call another friend? You know, this is the right place to be at this time. Yes, Dr. Margaret. And I'm just like I said earlier on, we have so much in store for our viewers this afternoon, this morning, anywhere you are connected from. And my friend, before you leave this session in the next few hours, you are going to be loaded. In other words, you will be looking for a midwife to help you deliver that baby, because so much is going to come to you. To you, Dr. Margaret.
Yes, exactly. They are going to need a midwife. And guess who the midwives are? The midwives are your panelists. The midwives are all of us on the platform right here this day that are driving and pioneering this dialogue. So Coaches of Influence Foundation, the Influence Africa Youth Forum. If you're wondering what is Influence Africa Youth Forum and what is COIF, Coaches of Influence Foundation, let me tell you, the Influence Africa Youth Forum is one of the programs that's offered by by Coaches of Influence Foundation. We are known by our call letters, COIF. That's what we are known. We are known by our call letters. So this is Influence Africa Youth Forum. Is a program that is offered by Coaches of Influence Foundation. It is a platform of dialogue, and this is where education, positive influence, love for the continent, and solutions meet. Did you hear that? Let me give that to you again. This is Influence Africa a Youth Forum. This is a program offered by COIF. It is a platform of dialogue. And on this platform, this is where education, positive influence, love for the continent, and solutions meet. And that's exactly what you're going to get today. So we all know, Jacob, as they all know, most of the people know, and you know, and I know, that International Youth Day is celebrated globally. And this year, Coaches of Influence Foundation chose a theme which speaks to the needs of the youth of Africa. But before we get into that dialogue, before we start breaking down what the theme is and inviting our speakers to educate us on what we are going to learn, Jacob, I think this is the right time, since we are talking about the love for the continent of Africa. We are talking about Influence Africa Youth Forum. I think this is a very good time. This is the right moment to air and to play the African Union anthem, so we can all be inspired about Africa. We can all be inspired about the spirit of Africa. So the spirit of Mama Africa must rise in our midst this morning and must rise in our hearts. So without further ado, I think this is the right moment right here for us to hear the African Union anthem.
Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. All sons and daughters of Africa, Let us have to fight together for lasting peace and justice on earth. Oh, sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life. Let us all unite and toil together to give the best we have to Africa, the cradle of mankind and font of culture, our pride and hope at break of dawn. Oh, sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Every time I hear this anthem, I feel chills. I feel chills. Jacob, what is your take on this anthem? What message do you
Man,
have for the young people that are listening to
thi-
this?
this is the message we need. And man, if this is your first time hearing the Africa's anthem, why not go online, search for it, get it, listen to it over and over, because those words are so inspiring. Those words are so stirring. Let's all make Africa the tree of life. Imagine, imagine making Africa the tree of life. We have so much, broken people, so much people in poverty, so much people languishing in pain, so much people looking for solutions out there. Mind you, you and I are the tree of life. You and I should be the tree of life to put a smile on their face, to just, hold their hand and take them out of that dungeon. We are the ones. And I'm so glad, because today we are celebrating the International Youth Day. Man, if you are a young person on this call, this is the right time to get to, take someone by the hand and say, hey, you are not alone. Hey, we don't need war. All we need is peace, because this is the right time. Because we are the solutions, and we are and should endeavor to always be the tree of life, just like the anthem alluded. To you, Dr. Margaret.
Thank you very much, Jacob. You have indeed nailed it. You know, Jacob, if you are joining us, if anyone is joining us on this platform, and this is the first time you're hearing of Coaches of Influence Foundation, you're wondering, yes, they're youth organization, youth and women. Yes, there are so many organizations out there that are youth and women. What makes Coaches of Influence Foundation special? What makes them different? What makes them unique? What makes COIF what it is? Well, COIF has a flavor that many organizations out there may not have. And our flavor is that we are sons and daughters of Africa, and we do not shy away from that. We are very bold. We stick our neck out. We love our continent. And we are focused on raising an army of influencers for intergenerational impact in the continent of Africa and globally. And when Jacob, there are two lines in that anthem that really touch me, that touch the core of me. And from the very beginning, they said the victories won for our liberation. If you're young and you're listening to me, young man, young woman, son and daughter of Africa, old, young, in between, and anybody in between, the victories have been won for our liberation. We cannot go back to slavery. It's too late. Young man, relieve yourself from aid. Relieve yourself from the mindset that somebody has to give you something in order for you to do something. Arise today, young man, young woman, and get moving. Arise and move, because somebody have given up their life already. Some people have gone ahead and victories have been won already for our liberation. And I also like that they said Africa is the cradle of mankind and fountain of culture. Young man, young woman that's trying to be like somebody else, that's trying to live like somebody else, understand what you are departing from. You are departing from a fountain of culture. And this is something you don't want to lose. So get back in order, get back in line, discover yourself and know who you are. You are a son and daughter of Mama Africa. And this is a continent that is full of life, vibrant, thriving. Let us all come together and make Africa the tree of life. I think that is the message that we all have to take home today. On that note, Jacob, I think we are ready for our next item. And we have gotten into the program now. We are diving deep. So now we are knee length into the program. We are knee deep. So the next item on our program is to the event video. This is today is about International Youth Day. We are celebrating our young people, and we are going to hear the voice of a very dynamic young lady in the personality of Jabu Cham. And Jabu Cham is a third-year mentee of COIF. And Jabu Cham and the entire team of youth at COIF have a message for us this morning as we celebrate International Youth Day on this platform of Influence Africa Youth Forum, hosted by coaches of Influence Foundation. We are ready for Jabu's message.
In our 21st century world, we are experiencing a major shift where technology and innovation are reshaping every aspect of our lives, which of course creates new opportunities and challenges. Digital technology has charted the course to revolutionize communication, commerce, and entertainment, connecting people across the globe like we have never seen before. Digital technology is transforming the finance, education, healthcare, and other key industries, paving a pathway for improved efficiencies and new possibilities for growth and development. Today, as we celebrate International Youth Day, it is a perfect opportunity to utilize our Influence Africa Youth Forum to dig deep into the possibilities of harnessing the digital space to educate and empower Africa's youth, create a platform for them to fight drug abuse, and put measures in place to promote mental health and well-being, which will ensure our youth step into a brighter future for generations to come. As Africa craves solutions to the epidemic of drug use, which has in fact become a silent killer of the young generation, employing approaches to integrate technology with community support and education is becoming increasingly crucial. Think about it. Engaging relevant technology can ensure accessibility to resources, provide a real-time support, and empower communities to effectively manage the prevention and intervention efforts for the promotion of a healthy and drug-free society. We are on a pursuit to equip the next generation with the knowledge, skills, and resources they need, empower them to overcome challenges, and contribute positively to society. As we journey with our speakers today, we will continue to answer the most relevant questions of our day. We believe that the time is now. This is the right moment, not only to seek responses to questions, but to implement lasting solutions that will transform Africa for the greater good. There is no better time than now, and the COIF Influence Africa Youth Forum is ahead of the game.
Wow, wow, wow. What a message. This is what the youth of Coaches of Influence Foundation collaboratively, they came together, a team of them that represents the entire body of youth that we have in the organization came together. And this is the message that they drafted. This is a message they wrote. This is a message they want to send out there to every young man, every young woman, every leader in Africa. This is the message. Jacob, what is your take on the message that the young people have for us this morning?
This is so beautiful. Thank you to the COI team for putting this great message out there. I think for me, it's just like what Jabu said in the video. There is no better time than now, right? This is the right time. There are so many issues, from economic issues, social issues, political issues in Africa and beyond. And this is the right time, man, for us to stand up, for do something about this. And I love what one of the people I listened to said. And this is what he said. He said, problem solvers are in short supply in the world. And he said, if you choose to be one, you will be, one among the many. So as young people, the message we can learn from this message that Jabu has shared with us is that, hey, can we be part of the problem solvers and not just be complainers? Because if you continue to be a complainer, you'll be at the back seat. Complainers will always be at the back seat. So this is the right time for you and I to take on that stage, to take on that step, to do something, to contribute to society, because society is waiting for us. And just like the ancient proverb said, the whole creation is waiting for us as young people. The whole creation is waiting for me, Jacob. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for each and every young person. So this is the right time. There's no time for you to give an excuse, because the whole creation is waiting for you. Because there is one thing that you have that I don't have. There is one thing you have that someone out there don't have. So when we all come together, put all our halves together in quote, we will be able to change the status quo in this country and beyond. So this is the right message. It's a timely one. And mind you, you can go over and over after this whole session to listen to that message, because there is so much that message has in it. So I'm really excited. And thank you once again to the Coaches of Influence Youth for putting together such a brilliant message to educate us.
Thank you, Jacob. You have said it all, and you have articulated it so beautifully. I don't have anything else to add. It is well articulated. I think at this point, some people saw publication flyers and they saw someone featured on that flyer as our keynote speaker. And this person is my brother. This person is a partner. This person is a true son of Africa who loves Africa and wants to make Africa the tree of life. And this person has been a friend, a partner, a collaborator of Coaches of Influence Foundation. From the very first time we invited him to our organization in 2021, he has never failed us. He has attended our graduation ceremonies. He has spoken at our events. He has supported financially. He's an encourager. He encourages me. He has pulled me to the side and he said, keep working. I know this is not easy. This looks like nothing is happening, but you will not see the fruit now, but keep working. That's what I need. I hear a lot of discouragement around me. A lot of people ask me, why do you do what you do? These young people will never change. You're wasting your time. This will not yield any fruit. But I meet someone who tells me, who's a visionary leader, who's not looking at the struggles I'm going through today, that we are going through today as an organization, but who is able to see into the future, because they are an African son who loves Africa. And they are able to encourage me, impart words of encouragement in me. Keep going, keep moving, keep on, keep on. So thank you very much, Dr. Ismail Baji. We are so excited to have you. So let me allow our team today to introduce Dr. Ismail in a most profound way as we welcome him to share with us his keynote.
We are thrilled to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Dr. Ismail D. Baji. Dr. Ismail D. Badji is a visionary pharmacist, entrepreneur, and healthcare innovator with over a decade of leadership experience in community healthcare services and pharmaceutical distribution. As a U.S. licensed pharmacist and Six Sigma Green Belt holder, he has managed high-volume, multi-million-dollar pharmacy operations, demonstrating expertise in inventory management, medication therapy, and community health initiatives. Dr. Badji's professional journey spans from managing 24-hour community pharmacies in the U.S. to pioneering healthcare solutions in sub-Saharan Africa. As the founder and CEO of Innovarx Global Health, he has developed a transformative health delivery model that provides integrated, preventive services directly to communities in the Gambia and beyond. His work bridges the gap between diaspora communities and local healthcare needs, showcasing his commitment to global health equity and impactful leadership in the pharmaceutical industry. Let's all make welcome Dr. Ismail D. Badji.
Go ahead, Dr. Ismail. Welcome to Coaches of Influence Foundation, Influence Africa Youth Forum, in commemoration today of International Youth Day. We are all ready to hear your message. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Margaret. It's always such an honor when I could, join what I truly consider a family at this point, because we're joined in our mission and our passion for Africa. That's why I wanted to choose this day to also honor the spirit of our ancestors, especially who led the way before we came to be. A lot of people may see Akibulan on my chest. That was what Africa was known before they told us we were Africa. We were the mother of mankind. So what excites me about a day like today is the topic in particular, from clicks to progress. Youth develop digital pathways for sustainable development. Before we start, I want to take a journey down memory lane because I truly feel that history repeats itself, but oftentimes humans are caught not learning from the failures of our past. In 1884, a British inventor called Hiram Stevens Maxim invented what arguably changed the fortunes of Africa forever. A lot of people on the call may be too young or may have not heard of the Maxim gun. 1884, one slight change in development in technology changed warfare forever. People who knew Africa was gifted, Africa was mighty, knew that our physical strength, just based on our DNA, was something that always gave us the advantage. But oftentimes as human beings, our physical strength wanes away and we lose sight that the greatest gift God gifted to mankind was the ability of our mind. The Maxim gun changed warfare because it was an automatic machine gun that could kill and do damage at a rate so much faster than our ancestors that yielded swords and machetes. The Maxim gun could stand meters away and fire hundreds of bullets at the same time, killing so many of our ancestors before they could even make contact with the enemy to defend our nations. Such a technological gap had economic implications because that's when African nations started falling to colonialism. That's when our sovereignties became in jeopardy because we did not adapt to the technology at that time. And something that was important to note that warfare in that day and age was not for the old. The youth were the vanguard, and innovation was necessary for victory against what was an enemy at the time and shaped the outlook of our nations. So if we stand today as a continent divided in ways that do not make sense, because there's no such thing as a Gambian, for example. I trace my ancestry to all the way from Sine in Senegal to Guinea-Bissau. So the idea of being an African is such an important aspect of who we are. So when we speak about technology, let's learn from history. I consider the time and space that we're in right now our digital revolution, as in technology is the maxim gun. And it's sad to say that we are already behind. I find it particularly important that when you say digital pathways for sustainability, you could have a pathway. That doesn't mean you would reach your destination, because as you guys know, a pathway should be walked on, meaning we have a responsibility to sustain movement along a path that we collectively agree that is best for everybody on the continent to reach what we define as development. And for young people, I want us to start recalibrating what we think about when we think about development. Development is not poverty reduction. Development is prosperity creation. Creating an Africa where if you are 18 years old in Africa or in Gambia, you don't wake up with a vacancy in your eyes, wondering what the future holds for you, because unfortunately, the leaders of our past failed to prepare and till the soils that will bear fruits of prosperity for our today. So the development and the time and space that we're in right now, leveraging what is now universal. I go back to Maxim when he was in the lab developing what could do damage to rule us. Our chiefs were sitting in their bantabas eating grapes from their concubines. We cannot make the same mistakes that our ancestors did. We live in a day and age where the digital ecosystem has been democratized. Every African student with internet could learn courses from the best courses in the universe. So when we talk about from clicks to progress, every human being on the continent is a click away, not to poverty reduction, but to prosperity reduction. But most of the times we have to align and provide, especially our young people, which tools when we talk about sustainable development. And I'm not going to speak from a perspective of a healthcare professional, even though healthcare in particular, with digital health innovations, has revolutionized how care is provided. But when we talk about tools, I'm going to go over some of the aspects for every young people in Africa to realize the opportunity that we have ahead of us. When we talk about digital literacy, universities that used to be libraries that you have to go to, the internet is a university. Leveraging technologies like AI, e-commerce platforms, YouTube networks, online skill developments are all avenues where now what we used to consider schooling and education has totally evolved. Schooling might be a place that you go to build, honestly, a moral character, build aspects of discipline, but education is no longer synonymous with schooling. Our digital ecosystem for every young people is Africa's best opportunity to catch up because we are behind. But also, as young people in this day and age, as we know, when God gifts us with something that could be a source of abundance, human beings have a tendency to fall prey to such abundance. So the same way the internet and the digital ecosystem for our young people is a wealth of knowledge, it could be a source of distraction. Artificial intelligence is something that we're not talking about the future. We used to live in a day and age when I was younger where watching James Bond have a watch that he could speak into was mind-blowing innovation. Now Gambian 15, 16 years old are walking around with an Apple Watch and they're speaking through the Apple Watch. This just goes to show you how fast innovation and technology is moving. But that same technology, there is a young person learning not where it is now, but where the future is going. So we have a collective responsibility, not even to start thinking about how to evolve, how to change. Because the reality is what happens oftentimes outside of our world, outside of Gambia, There's a sense of envy because for me as an adult now, there's a sense of sadness when I see where the state of the continent is. Throughout the continent, young people are searching for hope. Young people are desperate. There's a vacancy, the joy and the exuberance that used to exist when we were growing up is no longer there because every single day we are wondering, where is a space for our young people? Young people are searching for role models throughout the continent. And oftentimes I say, any place that is void of role models calls for the remodeling of that society, a redirection of our internal compass to create a spirit of selflessness. Any place that is void of a role model, we need to start evolving where a person's character determines how successful or how much honor they get in society. Because we simply cannot use the tools of 1965, using Gambia as an example, to build a 2065 that we are going to be a part of. And I'm going to speak to the three, what I consider the core values of coaches of influence, the foundation. It struck me when I saw that there was identity, impact, and influence. What I liked about the layout was in the middle was identity. To the sides of identity was impact and influence. And I want to use this opportunity to highlight that there is a progression in life that needs to happen because we also have a tendency to put influence and impact before forming an identity as a young person. The identity is defining your character. The identity is finding your purpose because God put all of us on earth with a skill set that could change humanity if we walk down that path. That's why spiritually he even tells you just walk, and he knows what's in front of you and what is behind you. But it's urgent, there's an urgency to start see it as identity even should happen while you are incubating yourself as a young people, as a young person. Everybody on the continent knows that majority of our continent is young. The median age in Africa is 18 years old. But what's more shocking is 40% of our population is under 15. So I consider every African who is 18 not the future. You are the now. The responsibility lies on us to create the future that we need to be a part of. But also knowing that there is a process that needs to happen. And incubation, I see incubation as spending Saturday morning or afternoon in a space like this where like-minded people are finding solutions to our problems. Because if history has also taught us anything, is that nobody is coming to save us as a continent. We have the responsibility to shape leaders that embody the values and the wisdom of our forefathers and use it with the modern day technology, the modern day information of the today, not for our benefit, but for the benefit of those behind us, because the percentage of people that are under 15, we have a responsibility to those individuals. It's in that spirit that I want to talk about a few things that are interesting. When Africa was on the brink of fighting away from the chains of our forefathers, of our colonial masters, our forefathers, majority of the forefathers on the continent who had the courage, had the character, were under 50 years old. I think about Thomas Sankara, who was 33 years old when he became president. I think about Julius Nyerere, when he was 42 years old and led his nation. I think about Sekou Touré from our Guinean neighbors, who was 36 years old. So we also need to ask ourselves, when did this idea of waiting to be old to lead transition on the continent? So for every 18-year-old that is on this call right now, that hopefully is going through their incubation period, impact is going to start once you feel like you have acquired the amount of skills requisite, discipline, but moral character to lead our continent forward. Because, yes, oftentimes we could say it's time for young people. No, it's time for people of character. It's time for people who have courage. It's time for people who love nation. And it's time for people who, in spite or irrespective of any industry that you're in, be it healthcare, be it agriculture, be it engineering, be it law, that is not who you are. That is the vehicle that God puts you in to serve humanity. So when we talk about leadership and the spirit of leadership, I want to leave you guys with a piece of nugget that hopefully will resonate to you. I see leadership as three different faiths that determine where places, nations, continents go. I want to start from leadership from a place of scarcity of the past, which unfortunately has been what we have fell victim to. A leader who leads from a place of scarcity thinks about what he did not accumulate in the past. So when he has an opportunity to serve, he serves himself. That's what all the ills in our continent, you see that trend. Then you see a leadership of the present, which oftentimes us young people may fall prey to. Leadership of the present is leadership of instant gratification. You want impact, influence, and an identity to happen within the same time. It's you leading on what it could do for you today. And that leadership, even if we adopt that model of leadership as a continent, it cannot be sustainable because the development part has to be sustained, as in we have to lead from a place of abundance. Leadership from a place of abundance is realizing that man truly finds himself when he loses himself in the service of others. Leadership from a place of abundance is leading for the future, is looking at that 11-year-old Gambian, Nigerian, Rwandese child, and as a 25-year-old, making a promise to him that I will not fail you, because for every waking moment I have, I am going to make sure by the time you are 25, I left this place in a better place for you. That is the promise we owe to our future. So it's not a matter of we are next, we are now. And we have to realize that the moment you turn 18, you are older than the medium African, meaning you have a responsibility to do it through your actions, through your civic education, choosing the leaders that represent our future. And this is the hope that I know we will create, because at the end of the day, God has already had our destiny in our hands. And I believe that the Africa of now, the Africa of today, we will define and change the narrative that way the ancestors of Stephen Hiram Maxim will know that our ancestors left us with all the might, physical and mental might, to build the Africa that we deserve. So on that note, I celebrate you guys as young people of Africa. I celebrate the courageous and selfless leaders of Africa who are building the tomorrow, and realize that we are allies in a fight that is so much bigger than what we have in front of us. So God bless you. Thank you. And to God always be the glory, because without him, nothing that we do will be possible. Thank you so much.
Wow. All I can say is wow.
So
I have been writing so fast. I hope that everyone out there did take some notes. I have been writing so fast. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ismail. Thank you. You know, we enjoy having you on our platform because you are, like you rightfully said, Africa's youth are looking for role models. And Dr. Ismail, I know that you're very comfortable business here in the West, and it is a very prosperous, thriving business. You are a career man. You are highly educated, very knowledgeable, very resourceful, you are able to survive where you are. And so I want to speak to the young people. We have a culture in Africa to get something, but we fail to see what the people bring. So if you have ever thought about Dr. Ismail coming home to get is bigger, larger than what he will get. Because we are supposed to make Africa the tree of life. It is every African's and make it the fountain of culture. And for that reason, we cannot sit still. We have to be on the ground. Leaders get their hands in the mud. And that's exactly what we want to do. Dr. Ismail, thank you for recognizing that success is not about wealth. But you made a statement that is so profound that I want to echo back to the young people. You said that what you do isn't who you are. Puts in you, in your hands to serve, that God puts you in to serve humanity. What a reminder and what a word of knowledge for the young generation to I am that. And young people out there are so quick to put their profile out there and put all these names around them: influencer, iconic this, and influential that. But all of that is just a vehicle. How are you serving humanity with all of that, with all of those titles? How are you serving humanity with all of those accolades that you are collecting, and the awards and the trophies that you are gathering from everywhere? How are you serving? From Dr. Ismaila. But before you go, I just wanted to say this. You influence identity impact. We influence identity. So when people discover themselves and discover who they are and why they exist and what role they have to play in building humanity, in building the world, then they can create a positive and lasting impact. Because we believe that impact cannot happen in a person's life when you're surrounded by chaos and confusion and identity crisis. So we want to know who we are. Who are you? Once, if you can answer that question, you can become this influential, this, and iconic that. Until you can answer that question, you need to be in school. And I like what you stated about education. Every time we talk about education, in the African context, we education because they believe they are beyond the classroom. And that is even in our leadership, leaders believe they are beyond classes, they are beyond conferences. They have to only speak and not learn, because we have relegated leadership, education to just the classroom. But you reminded us this morning that education is education is no longer connected to schooling. I had a very popular, I read a very a profound statement from one of my favorite education. He said education is when you forget everything you are taught in the classroom, yet you are able to solve a problem. That is education. So we are not talking about classroom. COIF, we are beyond the classroom. What we are offering you here on this Influence Africa Forum is beyond the classroom. No school in Africa will teach you what you're learning right now. This is beyond the classroom. This is about identity. This is about knowing who you are. This is about discovering what is inside of you that you can unleash to be a solution to society, a solution to humanity. This is about bringing Africa out of the crossroads. This is about Africa going away from aid and being able to tap into the resources of its people to build the continent. That's what we are talking about here. So, Jacob, you can see I'm getting excited, but I have to allow you to share your thoughts before we release Dr. Ismail. Thank you.
Man. Thank you, Dr. Ismail. Thank you, Dr. Margaret, once again for this opportunity. I'm really honored. You know, man, Dr. Ismail, you've just cared so much in me, and the fact that you also talked about leadership and process. I think for me, one of the statements you made is waiting to be old to lead. You know, there are many people who are waiting to be old to lead, but just like you said, the time is now. We are now. We are not tomorrow. We are now. So you cannot just say, I'm waiting to be old to lead. No. That is a wrong thing. That's a wrong kind of mindset for you as a young person, right? Even though, you are growing, I would rather say grow in leadership, grow in leading. And as well, there's a process you need to follow as a young person. You cannot just get up and, like Dr. Margaret said, and brand yourself as an icon, as an influencer, as what all of the titles. My friend, those titles won't get you anywhere, because they'll just they'll just stop in your head there. So I think for me, even as you work towards leading and kind of renewing your thinking, that I don't have to be old to lead. You need to be patient enough to follow the process, because the process is going to be a refinery moment for you as a young person. Because again, you don't want to be in that position and you are half-baked, because a half-baked cake, I don't think anyone will want to take it, right? So please, if there's anything as young people we need to really pay attention to, is we need to really allow ourselves to go through a process. Someone said we live in a world, especially in this generation, he calls it the microwave generation. Everything, we just want it fast. Even food, fast food. Even healthcare, we want it fast care, right? But anyway, I think we really need to be patient enough to undergo a process, because again, if you don't go through a process, rather, and you are faced with the wind and the storms out there, you cannot stand, because you are not founded on the rock, right? So I would rather advise us as young people to give attention to all of the powerful things that you've shared with us this afternoon. I'm really inspired. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And just like what Dr. Margaret said, in each and every interaction with you, man, we have so much to write, so much to just go, take with us. Thank you so much. We are really grateful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Ismail. Again, thank you for all the work that you are doing in the motherland, in your nation, the Gambia, and in many countries in Africa. We appreciate you for allowing people to live, because with the service that your company is providing in Africa, you are giving people life. You're making Africa the tree of life, because many people are able to get their medical conditions addressed by the services that you offer. Thank you for loving Africa. Thank you for your sacrifice. If people think you are enjoying, I know it's a lot of sacrifice. Thank you for taking all the challenges that are on the ground and taking them in as motivation to continue to serve. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for believing in Coaches of Influence Foundation. And we will always call on you, because we know you believe in you. You believe in us, and you're part of what we do. Thank you very much. And you mentioned leadership. We have a very beautifully crafted, beautiful video about Africa's leaders, and it's going to be aired very shortly. So I'll encourage you to stick around to hear what the young people of Coaches of Influence Foundation have to say about Africa's legends. So stick around for that. Thank you very much. Jacob, this is getting exciting. If you are just joining us, this is
Yeah.
from clicks to progress. That's the theme for today. From clicks to progress, youth digital pathways for sustainable development. And we are talking about the main topic for today is harnessing the digital space for youth empowerment and drug use prevention. That is the main topic for today. We want to talk about the issues that plague the young people of Africa. As we celebrate International Youth Day, we cannot talk about anything else other than the issues that plague Africa, because we want a healthy youth. It's a thriving youth. And so we are going to talk about how we can harness what is at our fingertips, which is a digital access. How can we harness the digital space for youth empowerment and drug use prevention? So we are getting ready, gearing up, Jacob, for our panel discussion, and the video is also being uploaded. I'll be notified when it's ready. So for now, we are going to start introducing our moderators for the panel discussion, and then we introduce our panelists, and then maybe we'll have the video before we have the panel discussion. But Jacob and I will inform you. Just stay with us, just flow with us, just cruise with us, fasten your seatbelt. This flight is about to take off. We have already taken off. We were on the tarmac, but we are now in the air. Dr. Ismaila shoot us high in the skies, and the panelists are about to take us into high altitude. We are about to get lost in the skies. So if you have not invited a friend yet, you have not grabbed your gadget, you don't have your notepad, you're not taking notes. If your mind is not set to be inspired, you are in the wrong place, because this is Coaches of Influence Foundation, and this is Influence Africa Youth Forum, one of our programs. And with Influence Africa Youth Forum, this is where education, positive influence, love for the continent of Africa, and solutions meet. On that note, Jacob, I think we're ready to start introducing our moderators.
Yes. So thank you very much, Dr. Margaret. And again, to all our viewers, please tell us where you connected from. Kindly, utilize the chat section and just comment section and just write where you are watching us from, and tell us, cheer up our speakers, because like I said, we have so much installed for you, and you've already seen, right? Our keynote speaker has just stirred so much in us. So this is the right place to be. Call a friend to call a friend to call another friend, because we still have our panelists. Man, I don't know how many of you had the opportunity to see the flyer. If you had, man, we have so much installed for you. So please tell a friend to tell a friend, call a friend out there. Yes, so I guess our technical team are ready to just share the videos of the bios of our moderators.
With excitement, we present to you Fanta Guy. Fanta Guy is a creative entrepreneur from the Gambia, West Africa, now based in Los Angeles, California. With over 5 years of experience, she specializes in photojournalism and editorial photography. Her passion for storytelling extends beyond the lens, embracing various mediums to capture and share compelling narratives. As a dedicated traveler, she is continually inspired by the diverse cultures and stories she encounters, weaving them into her work to create powerful, authentic visual experiences. Let's all make welcome Fanta Guy.
Hello. Good morning or good afternoon. It's morning on my end, but I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. We're excited to have you.
Thank you, Fanta. Thank you. Just hang tight.
With excitement, we present to you
Samuel
Mendy. Samuel Mendy was born and raised in the Gambia. He recently got enrolled to practice as a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of the Gambia. Prior to his enrollment, he studied for his Bachelor of Laws, LLB, degree at the University of the Gambia. At the university, he was actively involved in sub-associations within his faculty and served as the vice president of the Law Students Association, LSA. Samuel is passionate about ensuring that young people are equipped with the relevant skills and values that will shape them into responsible leaders, which is why he joined QUAF, an organization that is driven in the same direction. Currently, he is serving as the Board of Director for Legal Affairs, mentor and an Alumni Association member of QUAF. He is known to be a kind and smart gentleman. Let's all make welcome Samuel Mendy.
Welcome, Samuel. Yes, Samuel is a proud Alumni Association member, Board of Director, mentor of Coaches of Influence Foundation.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, for having me.
Samuel, for being here. Barrister Samuel.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
With
so
excitement,
Samuel,
we
hang
present
tight,
to you.
So can introduce your panelists and then you can take it off. You can take off with them. Thank you, Fanta and Samuel. Hold on for just a moment.
With excitement, we present to you our panelist. Dr. Andrews Akwasi Agbleek received his bachelor's degree in biochemistry from the University of Ghana, a doctorate in genetics from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and a postdoctoral fellowship at Harvard University. On completion of his fellowship, he worked as an imaging specialist at the Harvard Center for Biological Imaging before transiting to lead the Sena Institute of Technology, SIT, the first private nonprofit research center in Ghana. Dr. Agbleek's doctoral and postdoctoral research interest is on the 3D organization of chromosomes in bacteria and mammalian stem cell nuclei. At SIT, he studies biodiversity and environmental drivers of development in plants, marine and mammal organisms. Dr. Agbleek serves as the founding president of SIT, chair of the organizing committee for the first Federation of American Societies for Experimental Biology, FASEB, conference in Africa and founding president of the Genetics Society of West Africa. Let's all make welcome our esteemed panelists.
Hello, everyone.
Kwasi, glad to have
Hello.
you.
Thank you.
With excitement,
Thank
we
you very
present
much.
to you
We'll bring
our
on the
panelist.
other panelists so you can start your
Katleho
conversation.
Ntobo is a dedicated addiction recovery coach and 2024 Mandela Washington Fellow who is on a mission to transform lives and communities through his work in substance addiction recovery. Katleho's fellowship experience at Louisiana State University and collaboration with the Schreiber Research Group are integral to his goal of establishing the first operational rehabilitation center in Lesotho. His journey is marked by resilience, service, and a deep belief in the power of recovery and leadership. Katleho is an emerging leader in the field of addiction recovery, poised to make a significant impact in his community and beyond. Let's all make welcome our esteemed panelists.
Welcome, Katleho, all the way from Lesotho, and currently in the United States, Mandela Washington Fellow, 2024. Thank you. Hang tight. We'll be right with you.
With excitement, we present to you our panelist. Nelson Richardson Mandela is a regional development practitioner and regional youth, gender, and inclusion advocate with over 8 years of experience working with civil society organizations across Africa. He is currently the convener of the UN Sustainable Development Goal 5, Gender Equality, platform in Ghana, co-convener of the UN Sustainable Development Goal 16, Peace, Justice and Strong Institutions, leading members of West Africa Youth for Peace, and the Deputy Executive Director of Renal Ghana Foundation promoting and protecting women, girls and persons living with disabilities rights and helping them realize their full potential. Let's all make welcome our esteemed panelist.
Welcome, Mr. Nelson Mandela. We are so glad to have
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
One more panelist and you'll be ready to take off.
With excitement, we present to you our panelist.
Michael is a seasoned professional specializing in program design, project management, health tech, and health innovation within the healthcare space.
With excitement, we present to you our panelist.
Michael is a seasoned professional specializing in program design, project management, health tech, and health innovation within the healthcare space. Currently serving as a health tech analyst, Michael leverages his expertise in program design, health tech innovation, and project management to drive impactful change in the healthcare industry. Michael also has interests in youth leadership and development, health ecosystem strengthening, and health tech. Throughout his career, Michael has spearheaded health entrepreneurship and youth development initiatives through the African Health Innovation Center and worked with prestigious partners such as UNICEF, United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, the Global Impact Hub, UNAIDS, Global Integrity USAID, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Let's all make welcome our esteemed panelists.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome, Mr. Blanson. We are glad to have you again. Welcome to Coaches of Influence Foundation, Influence Africa Youth Forum in commemoration of International Youth Day. Samuel, Barrister Samuel, and Fanta, this is your show.
Thank you, Dr. Margaret. Thank you, everyone, for joining the program. I am happy to be here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to moderate. And of course, I am not doing it alone. I am doing it with the incredibly talented and skilled Fanta guy. Fanta, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Thank you.
How is everyone feeling?
So I will start off the conversation with Dr. Kwesi, who believes in harnessing technology to advance healthcare solutions in Africa. Dr. Kwesi, you are the founder of Sena Institute of Technology, a scientific research institute. I want to ask you, what are you doing to contribute to Africa's healthcare industry?
All right, thank you, moderator. I'm sure everyone can hear me. Good? Okay. Yeah, so I'm the founder of Sena Institute of Technology, and we started this project about 15 years ago. So I want to give the young people on the call how time actually flies when you're doing something. Everything takes time. You need to think about what you want to do and the passion that is driving you. So we started this project about 15 years ago, and that was right after I finished my undergraduate degree in Ghana. And what the problem I saw during my time was you go to the university, you're a science student, and you do some research or you just pipette and do some work. It works, it doesn't work. You generate some data and then you just present it. So for me, I think for us to be able to build a strong economy when it comes to healthcare, we need to start very early on. Train people to have the skills that they need to be able to do the research. So when we started SIT, what we have literally been doing is training and developing new technologies. So I will talk to you about 3 of the things that we do. Healthcare development can only improve when you have a strong research background. So the first one is you go to a hospital today, you have some disease that has not been well diagnosed or well categorized. The medical doctor will tell you, hey, this condition is way beyond the medical field. So you know what? Seek herbal medicine, right? Such a condition is clear. It's a clear indication that there's very few or limited research that is happening on the continent. If you're doing enough research, you should be able to take that patient go through the scientific process and come up with some conclusion. The second problem is in the lab itself, a lot of people are trained, but they still don't have the practicals needed for them to execute tasks. So we can think about, oh, these cool technologies exist, but do we have the expertise to utilize those technologies to execute problems? Again, that is where we train people in Ghana. So we've been able to bring in high-end instrumentation. So we have microscopes, we do DNA extraction, we train, even at the high school level, we can train students on how to do this project. And in a few weeks, maybe in 2-3 weeks, we are going to train people on how to sequence DNA on the continent in Ghana. And the idea is that giving people the practical training will empower them to do a lot of things. And then the last thing I would like to say is that science is not done in isolation. If you want to make impact on the continent, you have to do it through collaborations. So a typical example is we are interested in understanding fibroid, how the disease it predominantly affects blacks on the continent. It's a black disease. We've already started collecting tissues from women when they undergo the surgery. We've built collaborators that are helping us to be able to then tease apart the disease and then use that to find either a cure or a way to minimize the impact of the disease. So a lot of things come together in order for healthcare to be accessible and also to find new treatment to make the population better.
Well, thank you, Dr. Kwesi, for that wonderful answer. We'll get back to you shortly, but Fanta, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Kwesi. My question is going to go to Mr. Katleho, who is working on addiction and recovery. Mr. Katleho, in your experience, what is the easiest or most common entry point into drugs among young people in Africa? Oh, I think you might be muted. We couldn't hear you, but you can proceed. Mr. Katleho, we still can't hear you. It sounds very low, the volume. It could be the microphone. Yes, still nothing.
Fanta, maybe we can move to the next speaker to save time.
Okay. The next speaker, Mr. Blankson. Mr. Katleho will come back to you shortly. Mr. Blankson focuses on youth empowerment. Hi. And how are you today? So
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm good, thank you.
Hello, how am I right now?
Who is that?
Am I audible?
Yes, that's much better, Mr. Katleho.
That's much better, right? All right.
Yes.
What is the most common and easiest entry point for most people into drugs? It is the sense of relevance, the desire for the sense of relevance and importance. That is how I also got into this drug world and alcohol. I wanted the sense of relevance. I wanted to be known. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to feel important. And as a person who grew up as an introvert, I never had that. As an introvert, I was always alone, shy in my room. I wanted my own spaces. But deep inside of me, I craved that attention, that recognition, that sense of relevance and importance. And the easiest route for me that I had to take or that I took was drugs and alcohol. drugs and alcohol. And that is the first one that I've seen that a lot of people take, a lot of youth take to, yeah. Secondly, peer pressure. Peer pressure. Most people get into drugs, they end up into addiction because of peer pressure. My friends are doing it, so why shouldn't I do it? I want to be human like them. I want to be common like them. So if they do it, why shouldn't I do it? So most people get into the lives of drugs and end up into addiction. That is what I mostly work on, addiction. They get into drugs and they're influenced into addiction because of peer pressure. Peer pressure. That is one of the strongest pressures that I know, because I also am a victim. Why shouldn't I do what everyone is doing? Why should I try to be unique? Am I that special? Maybe I should try alcohol. Maybe the girls would love me. Maybe the people will appreciate me more. And that is what often leads most youth into the use of drugs, addictive drugs and alcohol. That is the most common pathways into the use of drugs. And one which is not an easiest, but is an influence. The third one is the exposure and easy access of drugs. Where I come from, it is very easy to access drugs. Very, very easy. Very easy. Almost everyone in every corner is selling drugs. So most people, there's a saying that says, if you hang around the barber shop long enough, you are most likely to get a haircut. If you hang around the barber shop long enough, you are most likely to get a haircut. If I hang around places or the community that I come from is filled with drugs and alcohol, I am most likely, or the chances of me becoming a drug addict or using drugs are very high. Very high. So those three that I've talked about are the easiest and the most common entry points into the use of drugs among most young people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kadleho. I think you said something that was very powerful because you mentioned how some of them want to feel a sense of importance and belonging. And it makes me wonder if how we can help youths find other spaces or other outlets, within society where they can have that same sense of belonging without needing to look for it within drugs or in social groups that use drugs. But thank you so much. I have a lot to think about. I'm sure the rest of the audience does with those answers.
Thank you, Fanta. Now, I want to ask my next question to Mr. Nelson Richardson Mandela. Let me not mislead the audience. So, Mr. Mandela, as a dynamic youth and leader of a very vibrant organization, how are you equipping young people with digital skills?
All right. Thank you very much, my friend Barrister.
Thank you.
Greetings to all the other speakers and everybody listening. Yeah, I'm Nelson Mandela from Ghana. I work in the regional space. Yeah, so as a dynamic youth leader, I believe that digital literacy is the cornerstone of success in today's world. It's not just the learning to use technology, but I believe that harnessing its power to create, innovate, and solve problems. That is why my organization and all the other groups I work with, we look at how we can use technology to solve community-based problems. So one of the things that we look out for is comprehensive digital literacy programs and solutions. So as we are all aware about the SDG, Goal 17 talks about partnership. So based on that partnership, we always look at the partnership bit, and we liaise with other organizations that are into tech, and like Royal Legacy and also University of Florida, their computer science departments, to create apps that can be used to solve problems in our communities, especially in Ghana. So currently in Ghana, one of the challenges that we have in Ghana is period poverty, which is a cross-cutting issue, I think, across all the African region. So we have an app called a Flow app. The Flow app, what it does is we look at how we can use technology to be able to track student absenteeism in schools. So for instance, in Ghana, when a girl goes through menstruation, the girl misses about 5 days in a month because the girl is not able to afford sanitary pads. So we have an app that we have trained the girl child coordinators, which they use to track student absenteeism. One of the apps also that we use also is we call it VSLA, that is the Agri Empower app. With the Agri Empower app, our focus is mainly on gender mainstreaming. So we try to empower women. So we have an app that they use from plowing stage to harvesting stage, and to how they can learn to grow farm produce. So there's an app like that, and our app doesn't really need internet. So everywhere you are in Ghana, that is what they can use. So we do these things to empower the young people, especially women, and to give them a living. Our last app that we also use is we also have an app called Bola app. Bola in Ghana is rubbish. So we have an app that we use to, collect refuge from the various communities. So there's an app that is currently using. You register with the app, and we train our community members and our volunteers on how we can use such apps to make sure we get the best out of it in the community. Another thing we do as an organization is we look at also mentorship and coaching. So, for instance, currently as we are speaking now, we are about to roll out a program called Girls in STEM, Persons with Disability. So we are trying to equip girls with how they can start coding. We want to help them with that. So that is also a program. So we get experienced mentors across the place that we can be able to train these girls to be change makers in their various communities. We also have affordable devices that we work with in partnership. So we have, for instance, with Royal Legacy Consortium, what they do for us, they support us with gadgets that our girls can use, as we also try to make sure we provide some of these services online, and also tutorials and digital libraries across the globe. So what we also, and the last thing we also do is digital safety and ethics. We all know what really goes on at doing social media recently. So definitely what we do is, because our focus is on girls, our girls are more exposed when it comes to things on social media. So we have sometimes do like we are doing now. We have online safety education, how we can teach young people on cyber bullying, online perpetrators, and also we report them with the various appropriate courts. We also liaise with OneUp on some of these things, and the Ghana Crime Unit. So these are some of the few things that we do as an organization. By combating these strategies, we aim to empower young girls to become confident and skilled digital citizens who will thrive in the 21st century. So this is what we do at Renel Ghana and with all the other groups that I belong to.
Thank you, Mr. Mandela. I'm curious to know the app for women that does not require internet. How do you know how does it work? Mr. Nelson? Hello?
Seems like we lost him.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Fanta, I guess we can move to the next panelist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So back to Mr. Blankson. Mr. Blankson is focusing on using technology to combat the drug abuse epidemic in Africa. Mr. Blankson, what do you think are the leading causes of drug use and abuse among young people in Africa?
Hi, thank you so much for having me on this call, and also to say hello to all the co-panelists. It's been an amazing session so far. Um, Also, basically, to before I actually zoom into the conversation, I'd want us to have some figures or a preamble to just get us into the conversation very well. Now, this is to know that about 25 million of the 226 million people who use drugs at least once in their lifetime were from the African continent. This is by NCBI. Also, we also have to bear in mind that in the last decade, Africa began to be recognized as one of the consumers and the destination for illicit drugs, compared to being previously regarded as the mainly transit zone for these drugs. And that's serving a linkage between Latin Africa and Europe. Being aware that the UN predicts that there will be a 40% more drug users in Africa by 2030. This is basically to introduce the conversation to say that how harmful is drug abuse and what are some of the causes and what is happening right now in the African continent. Now, substance and drug abuse are on the rise among young people in Africa. And this should be of great interest because Africa has the highest percentage of young people. So there is a potential for us harnessing the demographic dividend. And for us to achieve this, we need to start having some of these conversations. I would say the leading causes of drug abuse and drug use among young people in Africa is usually influenced through various factors. They could be social, they could be economical, they could be psychosocial factors. But one of the interesting things that my colleague already mentioned is peer pressure, right? And peer pressure, the word has become a cliche, just to say that it's now not taken so serious because it's been mentioned over and over and over again. But it is something that is influencing young people. And there is a theory which is called the social cognitive theory, which has the assertion that the more people are in a space, they tend to pick up certain attitudes and habits, and that goes a long way to affect them in future. I mean, peer influence, peer pressure is a significant factor contributing to drug use among young people in Africa, especially among adolescents. And often than not, we see it to be, oh, maybe they are just experimenting, they are just exercising their youthful exuberance, right? But for example, in Nigeria, in Ghana, and South Africa, for example, young people may face peer pressure to engage in drug use as a way to be accepted within the social circles, which is mainly influenced by the trends in music, trends in fashion, trends in social media. 20 years ago, I mean, smoking tobacco and cigarettes was a fashion. But now the new normal is shisha, vapes, and alcohol. And it's intriguing to know that the most consumed drug in Africa is alcohol. That means that drug users wouldn't call themselves drug users because alcohol is an illegal drug, right? So we know it's more socially acceptable to drink alcohol than to smoke. So it's become more fashionable. It's something that has become a way of life into some context, and if you're supposed to speak about it. Basically, for some reasons, social media also plays a role in the increment of substance abuse in Africa. It's really important for us to check this. For instance, in certain countries, certain movies wouldn't even pass. And some countries may have regulations, or they may have, for instance, censorship boards that restrict or heavily regulate the depiction of drug related content in films and other media. But what do we see in Gambia? What do we see in Uganda? There are movies that are showing smoking, they're showing hardcore sex scenes, they're showing some of these things, and these are behavioral changes. So it takes a very long time for them to build up, and it also takes a very long time to change. Now, Africa actually has tried, especially when it comes to Nigeria, Rwanda, and Ghana, is doing very well in this trend. FDA in Ghana had banned celebrities from advertising alcoholic beverages, which is currently in court. There's been a bit of celebrities and the policy and regulatory bodies contention on this act. I mean, it's a roadmap by FDA. As much as it's been seen that alcohol is everywhere, and like my colleague already said, it's so accessible that you find it on the streets, you find it in the hotels, you find it around schools. There are no policies to regulate them, and Ghana is doing so well in this regard. Now, there's other factors I'll call the socio-economic challenges. Now, this is to say that economic hardships, poverty, lack of opportunities for employment or education can drive young people towards drug use as a means of coping with stress, boredom, or hopelessness. In certain communities, right, with limited economic prospects, like drug trafficking and consumption become the only source of income, right? Like if you go through the peripheries, maybe around rural areas or around the urban areas, you find out that there are certain settlements that is classified as red zones. Now, these red zones, what happens is that these are settlements of people who have migrated within country, who have come to settle there. And these are young people who do not have jobs. So what's next? What's next is that they will thrive on drug trafficking and the consumption of drugs as livelihood. The next thing that I will talk about is lack of parental guidance, absence of parental supervision, single parenthood, neglect, dysfunctional families. These dynamics contribute to some of the causes of drug abuse and substance abuse. I mean, also to say that there's exposure to trauma and stress. And in the African continent, I would speak highly of post conflict narratives. That's to say that usually when the areas where there are conflicts, where there are child soldiers, where people have been exposed to traumatic events such as violence, conflicts, or natural disasters, there is a significant impact in the way that the child or the young person would behave because of what they've been through. So these are some of the causes and some of the issues that surrounds drug abuse, substance abuse, and how young people pick up some of these behaviors in society. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blankson. That was very informative. And I think the main thing that I'm extracting from that is that everything is connected, you know? It's like things can sort of create a snowball
Right.
effect, lead you to these, consequences or habits that they later on develop. Thank you. I'm going to pass it back
Right.
to Samuel. Or your mic is muted.
Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Okay. Yeah, we now go back to Dr. Kwesi. Dr. Kwesi, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, earlier on you shared how Sena Institute of Technology is, contributing towards the healthcare industry in Africa. You've also gone as far as, to an extent, describing the current situation of the African healthcare system. So what do you think are the recent technologies that can be utilized to advance healthcare in Africa? And in more detail, how would you describe the healthcare system of Africa?
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So, when it comes to technology, I would like to first start with the fact that technology, the the biggest asset Africa has, or any individual have, is the mind, is your brain. Okay. If you look back maybe 50, 100 years ago, a lot of the things we know today were done with things that were less inferior or less advanced than what we have now. But we've been able to do that. So you think of the simplest one, the cell phone in your hand is more powerful than the machine or the laptop or the computer that was used to send people to space. Okay. So the question is, was it the technology that made things possible, or it was the mind, or it was the individuals that were involved? And since this is more on the coaches of influence and our young people, I would like to make the fact that I would like people to think about this in their daily activities, that technology is to support and advance what you are doing, but the fundamental starts with you. Okay. So let's go back to our healthcare system. Earlier on, I made a statement about how we take care of our patients when they come with diseases that we are not certain of. That's the extreme case. Okay. But how many of our hospitals focus on collecting patient data, analyzing it, and using that data to make the next decision? Okay. So if in the year there are about 5 million people that shows up in hospitals across Ghana, how many hospitals have that data that they go back to reanalyze that data and use that information to make decisions or to educate the public on what to do next? It is easier for us to go take data from the internet or from published data from other places and say, oh, people say malaria is going up and therefore it's going up, and then make a case. But where is the data? So the most fundamental basic thing for us when it comes to healthcare starts with the mind. People have to consistently research and think about the problem. The second component, which is also overlooked and it's been a burden to the continent, is as technology is advancing, we need to have individuals well trained in it. And the challenge with training the young or the youth in this technology is that,
Sorry. Please go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
a student being trained in the technology. So for instance, let's take the healthcare system. Now there are so many devices that you can even do precision medicine, where you can go almost to the molecular level and take a particular fragment of a person and reprogram it into their own tissue. Okay. So you can take your skin cell, convert it back into a liver or a kidney. That is how fast technology is advancing. You can do an x-ray today. You don't need a radiographer to read it. You can put it into a machine learning module or an AI system. It goes into the system, look at the images that you have and convert that image into a diagnostic information and tell you, look, based on the information based on the image that we have acquired, you have TB, you have a broken bone or not. These are technology that is out there. For instance, our institute, we had a machine learning module in there that we're able to use to analyze medical data. Fine. But the question is not whether you have those devices and you can use them. The question is, do you have a hypothesis, a question that you want to answer? That you wake up every day and that is what you worry your brain about. You have to consistently think of one problem and then use the right tool to advance it. The tools are numerous. In fact, they are reaching a point that anything you want to think about now, somebody has developed a tool for it. Or something you think about now, there are resources out there for you actually to build it yourself. Both resources are available. But what is happening on the continent that is negatively impacting healthcare is that 95% of our health professionals, our diagnostic technicians, they come to work 9 to 5. Let's use the word 9 to 5. The moment they close the door, they stop thinking about the problem and they come back and repeat the same thing over and over again. Such a situation, it is underutilization of our brains, underutilization of what we need to change healthcare. And the last thing I would like to make a point is, so now we emphasize so much on technology that people just want to learn the technology. So here there's a sequencing. So currently we want to train people on sequencing. Fine, you can come in and learn the technology. But what is your question after you learn that technology? Do you want to only have it on your CV and say, hey, I went to this institution and I was able to learn this technology, or I can do X-ray, I can learn how to use X-ray or HPLC. That is not the issue. The issue is, what is the question and why am I learning this technology? And now that I've learned the technology, even when I don't have all the resources to do it, what is my daily steps? Every day I wake up and I'm worried about that. If we can do that on a continent, I believe strongly that healthcare will change dramatically. And I've said it's more on an inspirational aspect, so I would just look at the global healthcare system. I think if you look back, I always believe in that we are making change, we are growing. So the continent over the last, I would say 50 years, medical care is improving. There are a lot of medical practitioners who have gone outside and come back with their technology or what they've learned and they're implementing it. Within the continent, people are becoming more aware of being a physician scientist. That means you must be a medical doctor and at the same time be running research concurrently, so that you take the medical data that comes in and analyze it. There are a lot of well-trained data scientists who are gradually moving into taking medical data, analyzing it, and using it to make decisions. So over the last, I would say 20 years, things are improving. But for the young people, look at it from the point that you need to have a question. Going to school is one thing, but the second most important thing is, what is the question you want to solve in your lifetime? You should wake up every day and ask myself, how do I collect the data, get the tools, the training? So you're not only acquiring the training because it's available, but you're acquiring the training because you have a problem you want to use the training to solve. If we can do that, our healthcare system will be advancing significantly, and there will be improvement in the system. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kwesi. Thank you so much for those profound words. I think one little nugget that I got from everything you shared is that it's one thing to get the tools, and it's another thing to know how to use them. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Fanta, we now move to the next speaker or panelist.
Thank you, Dr. Kwesi. I will come back to Mr. Katleho. Our second question is, considering the current drug epidemic in Africa, what do you think it will take to restore affected youths? We can't hear. Are you muted?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
yeah, it was.
Okay, you're back.
Am I audible enough?
Yes.
All right. When we talk about drug abuse, prevention, treatment, drug addiction, and recovery, we're talking about a topic that is very close to my heart. I said that is because I myself am a recovering addict. I know exactly how it feels to be an addict, to use drugs. So, and I have worked with a number of people who are struggling with their drug abuse and drug addiction. So, what would it take to restore the affected youth? My answer to that would be patience. Patience. That is the first thing that we need, patience. What I learned from myself, my experience, and from the people that I've worked with is that you can never rush somebody into recovery. You can never rush somebody into stopping using drugs and into their recovery. It is impossible. What we need is patience. These people took time to use these drugs. And for people like myself, we took a lot of time in addiction. To let go of these substances, it is not going to take us just one day. We have to understand that there are a number of factors that normally lead people into drug abuse, into drug addiction. And to rehabilitate somebody or to restore this kind of person, it is going to take quite a process. So it is not something that is going to happen just once. So my number one answer to that question is patience. Patience. Number two, we need education. We need education. People need to understand exactly what things like addiction is. Normally, when I introduce myself as a recovering addict, people are like, "What? Meaning you take drugs?" When I introduce myself as an alcoholic, they think that I think of myself as somebody who has lost hope or lacks willpower to let go of the substances. Their reaction normally teaches me that a lot of people still do not understand exactly what addiction, drug abuse is. We need education. There are a lot of people who would like to stop using these drugs, but do not know how to. We need education. We need education. And number three, access to quality rehabilitation centers or rehabilitation facilities. That is what we also need to restore our youth. Some people want to stop using these drugs, these substances, like alcohol. I struggled badly with alcohol. There are a lot of people who want to stop drinking or using these substances, but because they lack the education on how to stop, they find it hard to stop because they do not have the places they come from. Likewise, a place I come from, we do not have a rehabilitation center, a rehabilitation facility. So to restore or to rehabilitate the youth who have fallen in this trap of addiction or drug abuse, we need high quality rehabilitation facilities. That is one of our needs. And besides that, we need platforms like this one where we can raise awareness, where we can teach people about the substances, where we can teach people about prevention measures. We need online platforms like this ones, and I'm really glad that I've been invited here. I'm so happy to be here, and I think that a lot of people are going to learn a lot from this platform. And lastly, partnerships. We have a lot of organizations, non-profit organizations that work in different sectors: mental health, women empowerment, addiction recovery, drug prevention. we need partnerships between this among these non-profit organizations. With their partnerships, we can create a very strong bond that would assist in restoring or rehabilitating all the or most of the affected youth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Catlejo. I think you've said some very powerful words. And one thing that I've observed a lot in our societies is there's a taboo when it comes to addiction, like you were talking about. And I do agree with you that, you know, instead of looking at addicts as people that are out of control or, you know, people that have strayed, maybe we can look at them with more compassion, like people who are sick but in a different way and would be recovering same way as someone who has a belly ache and goes to the hospital. That it is definitely a process. So we really, really appreciate that. Thank you. And I will pass it back to my fellow moderator.
Thank you, Fanta. But before we move to the next panelist, I wanted to ask the previous speaker the same question, actually. I wanted to ask him what actually pushed him into drugs, if he doesn't mind answering.
No, I do not mind. I do not mind. I grew up as a very shy person. I'm an introvert by nature. As I said in my first question, I wanted love. I knew that, or I thought there's more to life than me living in the confines of my introversion. Introversion. I wanted to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to meet people. I wanted all that. And for me to get into drugs, unlike other people, I never got into drugs and alcohol because I wanted, I come from a bad, let's say, family, or I was pushed by an economic situation. No, I got into drugs and alcohol because I wanted a different version of me. I wanted love. I wanted people to recognize me. I needed that attention. And that is what led me to drugs and alcohol. I realized that a lot of people who drink and use drugs are well known and they are appreciated by the people within their circles. I wanted that. I craved for that. And that is what led me into the use of drugs and alcohol. And when I went to drugs and alcohol, my intentions were not to become an addict. I never started smoking and said, right now when I smoke, I'm smoking to become an addict. No, that was an after effect. That was a result of the thing that I went to, of the drugs and the alcohol that I got myself into. So it is not more about peer pressure. It was me wanting what I did not have, what I thought that I would have when I started using drugs and alcohol. And to tell you the truth, I found exactly what I was looking for. Alcohol gave me fun. It gave me companionship, stress relief. Right now, I'm no longer shy. I believe so. I started dancing, making jokes, all because of the drugs and the alcohol that I got myself involved into. But they came along with other negative impacts that I wasn't prepared for, or those that I never anticipated.
Thank you for that answer. The reason why I asked the question was for other young people that are in the call, you know, that maybe they are currently going through the same situation that you did before, so that they get to learn from your story and see and know what steps to take and what steps to not take, basically, to learn from your story. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I appreciate your answer. So we go back to Mr. Mandela of Ghana. Mr. Mandela, I want to ask you my next question. Are you here with us? You talked earlier on.
Yeah, I'm here with you. I think you were asking me a question earlier on concerning before my network got interrupted.
Yeah,
so
you mentioned an app that helps women and that it does not require internet connectivity. So I wanted to ask, do you know how does that work? I was
Yeah,
just curious. I wanted to.
okay, so with respect to, most of the cases that we deal in are in the rural communities. In our rural communities, we don't really have internet connectivity. So we try to develop an app that will be on any normal phone that can be used by teachers. So maybe after maybe this is an app we are still scaling up in Ghana, trying to still pilot it, and we are also planning to extend to the other regions as well. So I'm sure once we are here, it's something that we can also share after the piloting, and also share reports and how we can also make it better to also come to other African countries as well. So that is what maybe I have to say about that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So my next question is, what can African educational institutions do to complement the work being done by NGOs and civil service organizations to equip young people for sustainable leadership of the continent?
Thank you. So I'll say that African educational institutions have a pivotal role in nurturing future leaders equipped to address continent's complex challenges by aligning their curricula and methodologies with the goals of NGOs and civil society organizations. They can significantly contribute to the development of sustainable leadership. The first one I would say is curriculum reform and innovations. Yeah, so I know most countries in, let's say, Africa, I've been using the curriculum they use in the olden day, but things are changing. So let's say, for example, in Ghana, curriculum is designed by the National Council for Curriculum Activity, that is NACA, which is under the Ministry of Education, which is chose by both private and public institutions. So, for instance, in our education strategy in 2018 to 2030, it highlights three priorities areas for improving our educational system, which have been adopted under the framework. The first one is to improve equitable access and participation in inclusive quality education at all levels. So the second priority also look at improve quality of teaching and learning, and STEM. STEM is STEM at all level to ensure highest quality and teaching through building of set of activities and events. And the third one is sustainable and effort management. So with this background, for instance, in Ghana, what we can do to complement those work, the next one, we are looking at entrepreneurship and innovation. So we need to incorporate entrepreneurial skills and mindset. So I'm sure in Ghana, for example, we have something called life skills before. That has in life skills, which teaches us about other stuff, how, especially how maybe you can be able to learn, maybe aside your education, learn how to maybe do business, learn trade. So we are looking at a new curriculum that we have reformed now. It's something that is really in that people, new students that are coming from the primary level to the secondary level, are able to take up some courses at the entrepreneurial innovation level. So this will help you. And also, usually it's about a mindset. You can try to teach people about whatever you do, but if the mindset is not being, changed from the primary level, maybe at the basic level, when you grow up and you want to do that, it becomes difficult. So that is one of the things that we do. We also look at sustainability and environmental education. So we teach about climate. We all know about climate change lately. So we teach about climate, resource management, and ecological balance is essential for building a sustainable future. So once we also try to incorporate these things at a basic level for whoever that we are able to impact, it helps. So we also usually what we also look at is under the curriculum, we look at civic engagement and leadership. That is, the curriculum should foster activity, active citizenship, critical thinking, and leadership skills. So those are the things that we feel that when we are able to get those into the curricula, it helps. The second one I'm looking at is practical skills and experimental learning. So we look at least looking at internships and workplaces. So once we look at our students or whoever that is working, we look at them having internship and work placement. So that is collaborating with industries and organizations to provide practical experiences. Internship should be compulsory. So like in Ghana, some of the universities or some of the schools make it compulsory. Maybe after your second year, you have to go and do industrial internships for maybe say 3 months or say 2 months. And some of the even the schools base their grading system on even the internship. So it helps. So once you are doing that, you are gaining a lot of experiences in that field. One of the things we also look at under the skills and experimental learning is we are looking at community engagement projects. I'm sure this is being done in the Western world very well, whereby social work is very essential when it comes to even people in the university. So we are looking at involving students in community development initiatives to develop problem solving and leadership skills. So when they started from that level, when they grow up, it becomes part and parcel of them. We also look at the research and innovation centers. So we need to establishing platform for students to conduct research and develop initiative solutions. Like I'm sure all of us are here now, we all need to come up with something to develop, whether we can also own whatever that we develop to also to impact into other people. So the next one we also look at is partnership and collaboration. I'm sure almost all the speakers always do talk about partnership. And as the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals 17 also says. So we look at partnership and collaboration. So we look at that at the industry partnership. We look at NGO and government partnership. We look at aluminium network. So I'm sure most of the schools or maybe most of the institutions, they have a lot of those who have strong aluminium network, alumni networks, get a lot of opportunities for the upcoming ones to also nurture them and also give them opportunity to be able to work in such areas. The next thing I look at is teacher training and development. I'm sure these are one of the challenges that we do have lately because it's good that yes, we have teachers we need to equip teachers in the 21st century skills. For instance, in Ghana, recently, I think that was last year or last 2 years, teachers were being given laptops also just to equip whatever that they are doing so that they can be abreast with the 21st century day of teaching and learning. So we look at providing teachers with training in technology, critical thinking, and problem solving. We also look at supporting teachers in adopting innovative teaching methods. So sometimes the way you would teach, let's say for instance in Ghana, in Greater Accra, which is a capital city, is different from where you go to a place at Pluguku Yoyo in the northern region. So you cannot say because the students here, understand it this way. When you go to the northern region, it should be the same approach. There should be various approach, diverse ways of teaching, whereby students can also be able to look at some of these things. So we need to be involving teachers in curriculum development. Most of the time, some of these curricula that we develop, you wouldn't see maybe other stakeholders sitting at one small room, bringing out things that really teachers don't have any say in it. Then later they now bring it to your teachers to now implement it. I believe that teachers must play a role when it comes to that. The last thing I also talk about is infrastructure development. For instance, we always talk about equitable and inclusive society, but in Ghana, even our Ministry of Education is not inclusive. A person with disability cannot even, patronize our Ministry of Education. So how do we preach about inclusivity? So we look at also modern learning facilities, whereby it has everything, whereby investing in well-equipped classroom, libraries, and laboratories. We know that you cannot do things without laboratories, which most of the countries don't have. We also need to provide access to technology, and at least there should be internet all over whatever institution or infrastructure that we are bringing up, so that at least that can also be. The last one I will go by is the accessibility. So when you build something that is not accessible to people, I don't think we are doing anything good. So we need to be ensuring that educational facilities are accessible to students, including those with disability. Investment in the tertiary education has been a decline. But for instance, in Ghana, we have something a fund called Get Fund that has been very supportive when it comes to helping us to get education being equitable and inclusive in our country. I believe that by implementing some of these strategies, African education institutions can play a pivotal role in cultivating a new generation of leaders who are equipped to address continent challenges and build a sustainable future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mandela. That was a very, very good answer. I wish I can recall everything that you said or repeat everything that you said. But just to recap what you said, I believe some of the points that you made were that the educational system needs to collaborate with industries to provide young people with internship opportunities so that they are exposed. There also needs to be, community engagement projects, research and innovation centers as well. And also there has to be partnership and collaboration overall. So thank you so much for your answer. I'm really impressed by your answer. Thank you so much. Fanta, over to you.
Thank you. This next question goes to Mr. Blankson. As a health tech analyst, what innovative digital programs do you believe countries can implement to mitigate drug use and abuse among young people?
Right. So thanks for the question, Fanta. I think one thing that I would say is that innovation is inclusive to tech, but not exclusive to tech. So that is to say that there might be various innovative ideas and programs that government or other stakeholders could implement, but not necessarily should have a feature of tech in it. But as a health tech analyst, I believe countries can implement innovative digital programs like mobile apps and online platforms, which are tailored to educate young people about the dangers of drug abuse. Now, these platforms could potentially provide interactive content, virtual counseling sessions, and anonymous support forums. For instance, an educational app could be gamified, learning about substance abuse risk while offering access to counselors via chat or video calls. And within the entrepreneurial space, there has been a couple of strong startups who are doing something of this sort, but not basically focused on drug and substance abuse. There are a couple of examples, which is to say, to mention, Reach Out in Buya in Uganda. They use telemedicine and mobile health technologies to provide HIV/AIDS counseling and treatment, and then while also addressing substance abuse among affected populations. There are other um, there are other examples in Ghana. There's a social enterprise that is called Hopeful and Common, which is also not specifically targeted to substance and drug abuse, but they all offer counseling services, which are youth friendly, anonymous, for people who are in this population that can have access to. But basically, I would say that within the sub-Saharan African countries like Tanzania, uh, are experiencing a large explosion of internet usage. This is to say that in the last decade, the number of mobile subscribers and connections has quadrupled, right? I mean, despite this massive potential, there is little utilization of data interventions in Africa's healthcare. I mean, there are tons of amazing ideas, startups, etc. But the issue is the scalability. You know, there are no synergies between regulatory bodies to help prioritize and scale up some of these wonderful innovations. There are no sort of ideas, you know, in terms of putting some of these startups together as a stronghold to fight substance abuse and drug abuse and its usage. I would also want to say that um, the international bodies are trying. There are a couple of sponsors or funders who are ready to, you know, sort of provide technical support. They're sort of ready to provide financial support for ideas as such. And I would encourage young people to be creators of opportunities, like Dr. Ismaila said, and take up the future into their own hands, and more be more assertive in bringing out new ideas, especially in this regard, because essentially there are different facets of issues that we are looking at, but the issues and its dependencies are usually on reducing poverty, like Dr. Ismaila said. But the whole idea is that we should be more focused as young people on creating opportunities, increasing wealth and prosperity, and wherever we find ourselves. And also, lastly, to mention that an idea is to also, you know, these issues are behavioral change issues, and it's going to take a lot of time. There are some countries, especially in Ghana, there's a TV drama series called YOLO, which is a behavioral health promotional package, which is being done in different synopses of languages targeted at young people who are in the population of having HIV/AIDS or addressing such issues. And so that same idea could be picked up upon to use to address substance and drug abuse. I mean, there's been a bit of those in the series that, you know, tries to restrict and correct some of those behaviors. Yes, these are some few to mention. Fanta, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Blankson. I really appreciate that response. One thing I was thinking about when you were talking about youth and how we should mostly be focusing on creating opportunities is just this concept. I once saw this video somewhere on the internet, but it was saying like if there's something, I guess, negative in a cup, instead of focusing on, you know, getting your hand in the cup and trying to remove it, rather add more of the good, and eventually it'll dilute or remove, you know, the toxicity inside.
Right.
So it makes me think about how we just need to keep pouring and constantly looking for problems to solve as youths, also in the area of drug use, because as you mentioned earlier, more and more youths are using it nowadays. So yes, thank you so much for that response. And I will pass it back to Samuel.
Thank you, Fanta. I will now go back to Dr. Kwesi. And this is my final question to Dr. Kwesi. By the way, thank you all for staying on board with us. We know we've promised you that we'll finish by 4, but hopefully we're able to do so. Thank you so much for staying with us. Dr. Kwesi, my last question to you is how you're using technology to train, equip, and support healthcare personnel in the remote parts of Ghana. Dr. Kwesi, are you with
Yeah.
us?
Yes. Thank you,
All
Samuel.
right.
Yeah. So, as I said earlier, I will highlight a few things we are doing to train people in Ghana. So we've started the project of training, biotech training for students and for teachers from the level of maybe the age of about 10 years all the way to the doctorate level. So we have different programs for different groups of people. Uh, Primary and junior high school students can come to the institute. We train them on how to do pipetting, which is a very simple fundamental thing in biotech or understanding biomedical research. We give them questions and then they're able to make their own thing. So a key project we have at the institute is these students come at that level. They can extract pigments from plants, and in real time they can make their own art from it. So this is to highlight the importance of making your own product and using it. We are always used to go to the shop, buy something, and is made from outside, use it and draw and make your art. Can you make your things locally? Okay. And the second group of people we train is the senior high school student to the university level. When they come, they learn how to extract DNA. They do microscopy. They can create microscopy slice, which is it is a tough technique to learn, but if you can make it, you can make samples, specimen that you can visualize or other people can visualize. And then at the tutors or teachers, and then at the PhD level, they come in with some fundamental questions and we train them on how to solve that problem. The second training category that we have is concerning teacher training or workshops that give people a hands-on training. So the most common one that we do every year is the DNA barcoding workshop. We started this last year, where we train teachers and people at the advanced level on how to extract DNA, look at DNA, and then also to visualize it. It's very interesting that there are people or there are teachers teaching biology for years and if not even see how DNA looks like. Sometimes don't even know how a typical cell looks like. So you give them the opportunity to come in, look at, be able to look at cells, extract DNA, and fundamentally, they are learning the biology. And once you know those things, you can implement them in the medical field. The third category of project we have is exchange program. Now, we've heard a lot about partnership and collaborations. So what we started about 4 years ago was to organize summer programs. And in these summer programs, we train students on practical hands-on. So, and not just training, but also encourage people to move from US, Europe to come into Ghana. So the first exchange program, we had students from Harvard University. Then we brought students from University of Chicago, and last year we had students from the Gambia. Actually, we had we had about 3 people from the Coaches of Influence Network who came to have practical hands-on in our facility. And for me, I think it is a way of building collaborations. We also have partners in Nigeria where we bring people, researchers to come to Ghana and work with us on our project. And the idea of building that ecosystem of knowledge exchange is when we move across, we bring people from outside into the country or within the country, within the continent, we bring different group of people. We come in with our respective ideas and knowledge, and we'll be able to blend that into solutions. So I'm sure the Gambian team came to Ghana and it opened their mind to so many different avenues within Ghana that can be implemented in the Gambia. And I'm sure if I were to be in Gambia, I'll get a different perspective of avenues that I think, whoa, this would be useful in Ghana. So when we use science as a medium, to exchange in people and to bring knowledge moving across is going to help the continent in a lot of ways. Now, so that is in terms of human capacity and human transfer. If we continue to transfer and move knowledge through, as I said, it's all in our minds, we are able to build a strong team. In terms of technology, we've been lucky. Harvard had donated more than $1 million of equipment and reagent equipment to us. We've had biotech partners, especially the New England Biolabs, that have sponsored us with so many reagents and also equipment. So all these resources are now available that we use to be able to train people. Because saying you can train people is one thing, but you need then to decide what equipment, reagents, or materials that you need to make that feasible. And that is when you rely on your partners to say, okay, this is the question we are interested in solving. And this is where the partnerships are going to enable us to do so. And these partners, we request specific things that we need. We identify what resources we need. And then using that, we're able to do the training. And the last piece is we've been able to do all this training, especially let's take the DNA barcoding, because we already know the practical hands-on how things done. We know how to do it. We are not proposing that we are going to do it. We know how to do it. We've already trained people. We've already done it, and then we use that to train students. So when you are training a student, it is not try and error. It is something that has been done locally on the continent. So using this approach, the team in Ghana, in the Ipenyi, which is in rural part of the country, they've been able to discover a new way in which plants develop, which has not been done. And it is something cool, and we are in the process of publishing it in an international journal. Two, we've been able to go from one fishing town to another, collect fishes when they are the fishermen bring them on land to the shore. We take all these fishes and we've been sequencing them. Currently, we've sequenced about 200 fishes from the Atlantic Ocean, which my belief is that the institute in Ghana has the highest collection of DNA samples that has been collected over years within in the Atlantic Ocean in our area. We've started a research on fibroid where we partner with hospitals when women go for the fibroid surgery. We collect specimen from that. We store it in our labs, and the idea is to understand the molecular mechanism that is underneath it. So we are working on that as a technology. And then the third part, and then the last one is drug discovery. So we all know that many parts of the continent, people rely on what's the word? Herbal medicine. And you collect all this, and this herbal medicine, there's a debate, right? Some people think it's not worth it. Others think, well, it is great. We should continue to develop it. There's a debate. So what we do is that we've created a drug discovery platform at the institute where we take different plants, we go through a scientific process, and we screen whether they are effective or not. Currently, the major one that we have is for antimicrobial. That's what we have set up the platform to screen for. So again, we are doing all this, and they are all project-based, but fundamentally, the issue is what is the question you want to address, and what is the training you want to give to the next generation. They must be able to think about the problem, have the critical mindset. Yes, there are some tools we will still wish we had maybe some years from now, but what we have now and is our mental capacities, is our faculty to be able to think. If we use that, we can gradually solve the problem. Even though, yes, we have, as I said, we have about $1 million worth of equipment and reagent that is at our disposal, which makes it possible. But you still need to have a fundamental question you want to address. And I will emphasize this to our young people, because normally they are always thinking, I just want to learn the tool. Rather, I need to develop a question and look for tools to help me solve the question. If we can build a community that can continue to do this, Africa will be in a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kwesi. I think you've given us so much to, to think about as Gambians, to see how we can also improve, our healthcare system. I think actually one of my very good friends is a beneficiary of your program. I saw her messages on the screen earlier on. Bernadette. So thank you so much, Dr. Kwesi, for all you do. We really appreciate you. We thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. Please don't leave. We'll come back to you before we close the session. But Fanta, over to you.
Thank you. This next question I have is for Mr. Katleho. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me, okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, and it's also the final question for Mr. Katleho. Leveraging the digital space, what strategies can educators, parents, and students collectively employ to prevent illegal drug use and promote a positive lifestyle amongst young people? That was a long one. If you would like me to repeat it, please let me know.
I understood the question. I think I understood the question. I would like to share a short journey of how I recovered during my active drug use. I remember this other day, I was literally shaking from withdrawals. I wanted to stop using these substances, but facing the most severe withdrawals ever. I was sweating, I was shaking, my mood was all over the place. And what I did was go to Facebook and I posted, guys, that was my post, guys, if you want somebody to help you with your drinking and your drug addiction problems, I'm here for you. By that time, I was struggling when I made a decision, a commitment to help other people. I did not know how to stop using these substances myself, but I made a decision to help other people. By making that post on Facebook, that was one of the best things that I did. People started laughing because they knew me. They thought that I was joking, but I became consistent. I went on the internet and researched and started reading books that related to addiction, recovery, and alcoholism. And the knowledge that I gained from those books, I started transferring it to other people through social media. I'm answering the question. More people are now clean and sober because of that decision, that they decided to start making posts on social media about my recovery journey. That is what we need. We need online influencers. We need online influencers. What I love about this question is that Mr. Blackson has answered the majority of it. We need online influencers to help us combat the illegal drug use and addiction. We need people who are bold enough to say, guys, I've been through this on social media. I have been through this. I know exactly how painful it is to struggle with addiction. I can help you. This is what I know. That is one of the most effective strategies that I know, that I have applied. And also, we need people who that public. I am an author, and I'm in the process of introducing my book online, publishing it online. That is the right word. We need people who start writing and posting things online for other people to amplify resources, for other people to read, to access them. If there were no books or articles written on addiction that were published online, I wouldn't be here. I'm here because of other people who posted their materials online. That is also what we need. Online resources that relate to addiction, prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation. During the COVID pandemic in my country, we had a lockdown, and that was one of my lowest points in life, because my financial life and my business life were almost dead. And I almost faced a relapse until one brother of mine said, have you heard that there is an online AA, Alcoholics Anonymous? We call it AA. There's an online Alcoholics Anonymous meeting that goes on this the platform. And I was able to attend those meetings online, and they worked miracles. My third point is we need, that's what I'm answering, we need online support groups. Right now, we cannot say we are living in a digital world. Everyone is on their phones. Why can't we have online digital platforms? The online Alcoholics Anonymous meetings that I attended saved me. And I believe we can also use similar online platforms to combat or to work on drug use prevention up to recovery. We need online campaigns, educational campaigns. I touched that we need people who online will start teaching people on drug prevention, treatment, recovery. We also need the introduction of such platforms like this ones. I like what you guys are doing, because a number of people who are watching this are going to learn a lot, and people I also share this with my audience, my online audience. So we need this kind of platforms where people can be empowered and educated on drug addiction. How can we prevent this? You already have a problem. How can we treat, and how can you recover? So I believe that is what we need to leverage the digital spaces in combat to use and addiction. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Catlejo. I was reading some of the comments, and I think Dr. Ishmael said that, it takes a lot of courage and vulnerability to not only share your story and your experiences, but also use it to help others. And I just also wanted to really highlight that, a lot of people might have gone through what you have gone through, but the difference is the courage and the vulnerability that you're displaying here and that you live by, I bet, every single day. So we really, really appreciate your presence and your responses. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Truly, I'm inspired. Like, as I'm sitting here, I'm inspired by you. So thank you.
It is my pleasure. Thank you too.
Thank you, Fanta. Mr. Nelson. Is Mr. Nelson with us?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I cannot see him. Fanta, then maybe I can use this opportunity to ask your next question, right? Let me
Go
assume
ahead.
I know what you're about to ask.
Okay,
And it's for Mr. Blackson. I
yes.
want to just, Mr. Blackson, I want to ask you, what strategies can governments, employ to intentionally, like prioritize youth inclusivity and empowerment in drug prevention program design and implementation? If you don't get the question, I can kindly repeat it.
Yeah, you may want to repeat the question again.
Yeah, so the question is, what strategies can governments employ to intentionally prioritize youth inclusivity and empowerment in drug prevention programs designed. Sorry, I missed that. The question is, what strategies can governments employ to intentionally prioritize youth inclusivity and empowerment in drug prevention program design and implementation? That's the question. My apologies.
Right, right. Thank you so much. Well, just to say that, or just to mention that aging and aging and population growth are projected to increase the burden of mental health and substance use disorders by 130% in 2020 in 2050, according to NCBI. So such an unprecedented burden will significantly increase the need for drug prevention or preventive interventions. And governments in various countries can prioritize youth inclusivity and empowerment in drug prevention by involving young people in design and implementation of programs. Um, usually, young people are left out as partners. Young people are left out as beneficiaries. Young people are left out as policymakers, and it feels like young people are secluded, and things are done over our heads. Also, government should be culturally sensitive when implementing health promotional programs, and should find a way to inculcate or incorporate young people in every step of that implementation process, right from the inception to monitoring and evaluation, or monitoring and learning. Now, someone will ask, how can this be achieved, right? This could be achieved through youth-led initiatives, taking front in some of these decision-making processes, and engagements with the government, forums and consultations where young people's perspectives are heard and valued. For example, Paul Kagame, His Excellency Paul Kagame in Rwanda is doing amazing with his town hall forums exclusively for young people, where he engages them, he listens to them, and takes notes from them, and implements their ideas. Not just listening, but implement their ideas with them, for them as beneficiaries. So government could establish youth advisory councils or mentorship programs. And I know Uganda is also doing very well with that. I know a personal colleague in that space who acts on behalf of the president as a youth council member, and travels around the globe to, push Uganda's youthful engagement all around. Um, some of these things will empower young leaders to sort of advocate for drug prevention in their various communities. There could be champions, right? There could be champions in various communities, and the leveraging of strong cultural leaders. In every community, there are cultural leaders who we could leverage on their existing and goodwill and good leadership to sort of interact with young people, and find out ways and means that we could build some of these interventions for them. Additionally, we need to integrate drug education into our various school curriculums, right? Being very intentional, um, and offering vocational training opportunities for young people wherever we find them. We need to be very, very intentional as well, in the way we interact with young people, and this session is an example of what I am talking about, whereby young people are engaged to speak on and understand the issues that are hindering the continent. And also, we can provide opportunities, alternative opportunities, either through education or vocational training, and other means for young people. Um, I think governments could also very much, to some large extent, um, have a very secured institution that would cater for young people, and it's already there in most of these most of these countries. I mean, I've not seen a country that doesn't have an arm for young people, but being very intentional about some of the interventions that they want to have. There should also be synergy in all these various institutions, right? Where they want to, in case they want to engage with young people, make sure that there are very intentional health promotional programs, um, either through the media or whichever channel that the government would want to use. The government should be very intentional in engaging young people, and that's what I would say. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. By the way, the question is actually inspired by someone that is following the program also, and I just had to make sure I get the question right. That's why
Right,
I was reading it. Yeah. So thank you for your answer. Well,
right.
Fanta, what would you like to add? Did I ask what you wanted to ask, or you have another question? We've just been notified that we've run out of time.
No, I didn't have another question, but just to summarize, I think that there's been a lot of things that I've been educated by today. And I thought that there was a spark, but honestly, the spark has been reignited today, hearing these conversations and all these inspiring things that are being done in Africa. And, I feel like it just makes me want to be a part of it even more now. And I definitely feel the weight of my responsibility as well as all youths, honestly, to be a part of this. So I want to thank all the panelists again for everything that they've shared with us today. Samuel, do you have any closing thoughts?
Well, for me, they've given me so much to think about. I've actually learned a lot from today's program. As you all know, all I know is law. So all these technological, stuff were actual. Some of them were actually new to me. So I've had so much to learn from the program today, and I want to thank all the panelists, including the ones that have dropped. Everyone, thank you so much for your time. We know you are all busy, but you've taken time out of your busy schedules to be with us today and to inspire the many young people that are on this call today that are following that have been following the program for the past 3 hours. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank
And
you
thank
very
you,
much.
to COI for the opportunity. The thought of the whole world watching you could not just leave my mind, but I'm grateful for this experience. Thank you so much, Dr. Margaret. Thank you to Jacob. I think you guys have done a wonderful job. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for inspiring the young people that are in COIF. We want to be like you when we grow
Yeah.
up. Thank you all so much.
Basically, I second that. We want to be like you when we grow up, for sure.
Thank
We
you
want
so
to be
much.
like you when we grow up. Look at you.
Yeah, beautiful. All
Go
right.
ahead, Jack.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hunter and Samuel and all our panelists. Thank you so much for, really taking us, kind of raising questions, you know, because some of the things that you've said, really, they had to trigger trigger us to ask, questions that probably would move us to the next stage. So thank you so much. I'm really grateful, and I'm so all our viewers have the two things. We are really grateful, and just like Samuel said, for just taking the time to be here. I think this is quite commendable. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you all. So we are going to have an opportunity to give our viewers um, to ask questions. Please utilize the comment section and just type in your questions for the panelists. And I'm sure they will, some of them will stay online to really respond to some of the questions that you may have. So please utilize the comment section and just send in your questions. But meanwhile, before I allow Doctor to speak, we have an important video to play. It's titled The Africa Legend. And man, this is going to just blow your mind and kind of put you in a reflective position, I would say. So please, this flight has taken off, but I think we are about to land, or somehow we are still in the air. I would say still fasten up your seatbelt as well. So they are going to just play the Africa Legend. Kindly watch this.
In ancient lands where legends roam, Africa's elites, wisdom hone, civilization flourished through ancient Egyptian pyramids and monumental architecture, a testament to their visions. From Timbuktu's scholarly might to Ghana, Songhai and Mali's empires shining bright. Mansa Musa, riches untold, his words of unity bold and bold. Africa, unite, let us reclaim our heritage and rise aflame. Kuruma's voice echoed through the air, seek ye first Africa's welfare. Ghana's beacon, fighting for freedom, inspiring nations to rise and overcome. Sankare, a visionary soul, with dreams of Africa's self-control. Women hold up half the sky, he said, empowering all, no soul left dead.
Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Liberia's pride, breaking barriers, empowering far and wide. Leadership knows no gender or belief. Strength, dispelling prejudice, offering relief. Mwalimu Nyerere, a beacon of light. Education is the key that makes everything right. Tanzania's leader, champion of unity. Inspiring generations, transforming society. Senghor of Senegal, poetic and wise. Culture is the soul that never dies. Celebrating negritude, embracing our roots, uniting Africa, breaking colonial disputes. Pulo Lumumba, a voice fierce and strong. Corruption, a cancer that must be gone. Fighting for justice, rule of law and defense. Empowering Africa where progress transcends.
Sadauda Kairaba Jawara, the Gambia's pride, peace and democracy, side by side. A testament of integrity, leading with grace, nurturing a nation, creating a safe space. Nelson Mandela of South Africa, a prominent figure in the anti-apartheid movement. Despite being imprisoned, he introduced policies aimed at promoting reconciliation and healing in a divided society. Kwame Nkrumah Mensah, Ghana's pride, Pan-Africanism, our unity, cannot hide. Advocating for liberation, Africa's true voice, shaping a future where all can rejoice. Gaddafi's voice, controversial and strong, United States of Africa, where we belong, dreaming of a unified continent, standing tall. His vision, though debated, echoes the call.
Sir Edward Mutesa of Uganda, a strong advocate for democracy and human rights. Siaka Stevens of Sierra Leone, an advocate of economic and social development, contributed to the establishment of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Louis Cabral of Guinea-Bissau's tried Independence is not a goal, it is a means to an end. Empowering the nation, aspirations abide, the future of progress, where dreams transcend. Ahmed Sekou Toure of Geneva, Conakry. Bold, Africa refused to be divided, be strong and hold, fighting against colonial circles, a courageous fight, uniting Africa's nations, igniting the light.
Haile Selassie of Ethiopia, the emperor who led the African Union movement and ranged in significant economic and social development. Ramaphosa of South Africa leading the way. Investment and inclusion, growth we shall display. A champion of economic reform and social progress, empowering the people, creating success. Obasanjo of Nigeria, steadfast and strong, corruption's grip we shall dismantle before long. A commitment to good governance and transparency, Nigeria's transformation, a beacon of prosperity.
Lourenço of Angola, guiding the way, accountability and progress we shall convey, driving economic diversification and reform, a feature of prosperity, Africa's norm. Kagame of Rwanda, a visionary leader, unity and innovation, our path to succeed, rebuilding a nation, healing wounds of the past. Rwanda's transformation, a model to outlast, inclusion and progress, our shared endeavor. A story of resilience where hope will never cease. Faki of the African Commission, integration and cooperation, our mission, working tirelessly for continental unity, a stronger Africa, a global community.
2063, a grand vision unfold. Africa's renaissance, a global wheel, from the Cape to Cairo, hand in hand. Prosperity and peace we will command. The leaders past and present, their voices resound. Their wisdom in our hearts profound. Together we strive, united we will be. Africa's greatness for all we see. In ancient lands and modern times, Africa's spirit soar and chimps. Legends and leaders, their words inspire. A continent rising, reaching higher. Though challenges faced and victories won, Africa's journey is far from done. With resilience and hope, we will pave the way for a brighter future, day by day.
From the founding fathers to today's forefront, the spirit of Africa would never relent, a tapestry woven with strength and grace, embracing heritage, embracing the chase. In the cradle of civilization, Africa stands, a beacon of hope across vast lands, from the past to present and into the future. Africa's story, a testament to nurture. So let us stand together, hand in hand, with unity and purpose, we shall withstand. For Africa's potential knows no bound.
Wow.
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 Sorry.
It's all I can say. Jacob,
Thank
those
you.
last words,
Yeah.
last words that Abdul Karim stated a phrase there. He said, from the founding fathers to the present, the spirit of Africa will never relent. That sent chills through my bones.
Wow.
If you are listening to us right now, you are a young person in any part of the continent of Africa, you are of African descent. Remember what the anthem tells us. The cradle of mankind, foundation of culture, a fountain of culture. It does not matter where you are, young person. We are talking about drugs today. We are talking about addiction of all kinds. We may have centered the conversation on drugs and alcohol, but there are so many other addictions that are plaguing the youth of Africa. Whether it is masturbation, whether it is drugs, whether it is pornography, whatever is keeping a young person in the dark is a form of addiction. Whatever is making you wake up and not want to go out, not want to get out of bed, whatever makes you cry in the dark. Young men, you do cry. And I know in our culture, we are told that men don't cry. So you don't cry publicly. We normally don't do what Mr. Katleho did, to come out in social media and tell people, hey, come out, let's socialize and help each other out of this dark place. Usually we just wallow in darkness because our culture tells us that if people know about what you're going through, you lose your credibility, you lose your value, you lose your class. So we are holding on to maintain class. We are just holding on to pain and holding on to darkness. But you have to come out, young man. You have to come out, young woman. Because from the founding fathers to the present day, the spirit of Africa will never relent. Africa needs you. Africa needs you to rise. The Africa we want is not going to be executed by the people that are in the seat today. The Africa we want is in your hands. The Africa we want depends on what happens to you. So at COIF, we are very much interested in your well-being. We are interested in you discovering yourself. We are interested in you becoming and unleashing that power that lies inside. So you can be the one that will live the dream of the founding father. The anthem says that our fathers fought for our liberation. They fought so you don't get bedridden. They fought so you are not a mentally challenged person walking the streets of Africa. Our forefathers fought so you can rise and arise. So on this Africa Day, International Youth Day, we are not here to tell you stories. You hear stories everywhere else. We are here to bring you real stories, to bring you real information, to bring you inspiration, to bring you excitement, to bring you influence. We are saying arise and discover yourself because Africa is waiting on you. Africa is waiting on you. Just looking at the story of these leaders, Jacob, are you not inspired? Hearing all the things they did, the batons they passed on, even though some of those batons have been corrupted today, but you can correct it. It is not too late, young man. It is not too late, young woman. You just need to get out. Get out of that dark place. Seek for help. Mr. Kadleho said online platforms. We're talking about the digital space today, utilizing the digital space to harnessing the digital space for youth empowerment and drug use prevention. Use those platforms. Step up. Be like a Kadleho. If you're going through something, be the one to rise up and create that group. Bring other people that are struggling like you and help each other out. Help each other. So thank you. Jacob, I'll just hand over to you to take us to the next segment of the program. We are wrapping up now. If you had those questions, send them in. If we don't have questions right now, we can go ahead and wrap up the program. This is Influence Africa Youth Forum, presented to you by Coaches of Influence Foundation in commemoration of International Youth Day. We are very, very excited about this platform. We are excited about our Diplomatic Talk Series platform. We are excited because at COIF, we believe that every platform that we are on is where education, positive influence, love for the continent of Africa, and solutions meet. Dr. Kwasi told us over and over, solution. It's not just about what you have or what you do with what you have. It's about what you have, what the problem that what you have can solve. What problem do you wake up thinking about, young man, young woman? What problem do you wake up thinking about? Yes, Alaji Koma, you are emotional because this is the truth. This is our forefathers fought, not so we can go back into slavery, Africa. The one who feeds you controls you. If we continue to run nations based on aid, we are slipping back into slavery and we will never be liberated. Young man, you cannot have that idea for a business and you're waiting for funding. What are you doing today? Arise. Arise and unleash the power within. Farm in your backyard. Go and ask a neighbor to give you some space to farm. Raise some chicks and sell them. Do something to start that business. Do something to unleash that dream. Don't wait on funding, because the one who feeds you controls you. And I did say in our last program, the reason Africa is struggling with all the money that comes into Africa and all the programs that we have in Africa, we are still at a standstill. Why? Because imported solutions can never solve national problems. Local problems can only be solved by local solutions. And those solutions are you that's listening to me, you that's hearing my voice. You are the local solution. So Jacob, I'm getting too excited over here. I'm just going to pause and allow you to take us to the next level.
Man, this is so inspiring. I wish we could just, stay here for the rest of the day. But, all of the things that you've said are just profound. And again, I remembered you one time saying that if your vision is, if your vision came through based on funding, you will forever need funding to sustain that vision. And equally, if your business started out of funding, you will forever need that funding to sustain that business, because when the challenges of life, financial crisis and all of those things come your way, man, that will be the end of that business. So I think it's a wake-up call for each and every young person, for us as Africans, as leaders, to not just run around the aid. What can we do, right? So you said in one of the trainings, you were talking about leadership from inside out. I think we need to start thinking about producing those solutions from inside out, producing those finances, those monies that we need from inside out, because that is the only way that we will be able to sustain the things that we've established. So I think this is a wake-up call, and I'm so much inspired with what you've said, Dr. Margaret, and to the rest of the team member, the panelists, the keynote speaker. This is just a knockout. I'm so much excited, and I wish we could just stay here for the rest of the day. But we have to go. All right. So we have basically a youth leader by the name Fatmata, I just hope, says here, who will be given the closing remark. So we've come to the end of this event. So meanwhile, stay until we formally close with a closing prayer. But we just want to hear from the youth leader.
One moment, Jacob, please, before we bring Fatoumata. Fanta, who was one of our panelists, our moderator, Josh shared a question online. When I was speaking about you arising, Fanta said, what if you do not know where to start in solving a problem that feels too big? Fanta, this is why organizations like COIF exist. If your dream does not scare you, it is not from God. If you have a vision and you can just execute it with your eyes closed, that's an idea. It's not a vision. Because vision should scare you. Because when you birth a vision, you are standing right here where I'm seated right here, and vision is shooting me 10 years from now. And if I'm not afraid, then it's not a vision. It's an idea. Because if it's a vision, I should be shaken. I should be moved. It should be so big, bigger than me. But that is why we cannot execute visions alone. In this generation, we talked about collaboration. COIF is doing a lot and collaborating with so many other people, because we believe that it takes, like in the words of John Maxwell, if you want to do good, you can do it by yourself. But if you want to make great impact, you have to carry people along. And we believe in that. So that is why, if you don't know, it's so big, it's so confusing, it's a lot, you don't know what to do, seek mentorship, seek coaching. Sit at somebody's feet and let them show you the way. Let them help you to break that big vision into smaller goals. So you can once you accomplish one thing, your path will be cleared to pursue the next thing. And so mentorship just means when you are being mentored, it means that somebody that's taking you has already been there. And so you come under their wings and they take you there. And let me tell you, there does not exist. Because once they take you there, you and your mentor, if they are a person that seeks growth, both you and your mentor will shift. But by the time you arrive there, you'll find that there has shifted. Because remember, the vision is for 10, 20 years. The vision is not for a year. So if you accomplish so much in 1 year, you arrive somewhere. Once you get there shifts. And then the mentor keeps journeying with you year by year, day by day. And before you know it, you look back and you'll be able to see how far you've come. And a coach is one that has the experience, may not necessarily have been there where you're trying to go, but they have the coach has so much experience, vast experience in different fields and in different industries and is well equipped with knowledge. And that coach can hold your hand and help you to get to where you want to go. A mentor will go with you. A coach will send you. And so you need to know when you need a coach, when you need a mentor, and you need to invest. Everything is not. So Fanta, I'm responding to your question for everyone else. You need to invest. If we're just sitting around on free, because African youth have been destroyed by Africa's leaders who are so selfish, who are just depending on aid, collecting funding money everywhere and all over the place, inventing programs that are not solutions. They are just programs to enrich an individual. And so Africa's youth believe that everything should be free. And let me tell you, nothing is free. That program you're applying for free money, you are giving them your DNA. You are giving them your whole idea, every vision in your head, and everything that you want to do. So they have that information in order for them to release the money. And you are giving them everything about you. So one day you arise to become a president, guess what? Your entire profile is in the hand of a stranger. So nothing is free. If you want to grow, you must invest. If we want a tree to bear fruit, we water it, we fertilize it, we trim it, we weed it, we weed the grass. So the same thing goes. If you want to grow and go far, you have to get out of the mentality of free and begin to plug yourself in the mentality of investment. Because investment is a seed. When you sow it, it will grow and it will bear fruit. If you sow nothing, you reap nothing. So I think on that note, Jacob, I'm going to pause. I think that question is responded to in its entirety. So we can move on and hear from Fatimata. Thank you, Jacob.
Yes. So thank you, Doctor. We are so much grateful. I think, man, you've touched different areas. You've touched different areas with just responding to that particular question. So, Doctor, I'm gonna just say if there are any announcements, I will be glad if you will do that. Then later we just formally close the session with a closing prayer. I'm just notified that Fatimata won't be around for it.
All right. Thank you very much, Jacob. Yes, there are announcements. If you're in the house, give me a thumbs up, a heart, something. Get excited about what's coming down the pipeline. Get excited because I woke up so early. I literally did not sleep because I was so excited. I could not sleep. I felt like I was going on a first date with my husband. So I hope that you are excited as well. And I hope that you also stayed up and didn't sleep well because you could not just wait. And it was worth everything. So we have big announcements coming up. If you are a COIF mentee, you know that we have ongoing programs, ongoing development. So we have a program on the 24th, which is internal, and it is for business development, business management. It's an upskill mentoring session, business management. And then next month, somebody say next month with me. Say it quietly. Say it to yourself. Next month, we have another online session. And this time around, it is the diplomatic talks. And we are going to celebrate, commemorate International Day of World Day of Democracy. Democracy. It's coming. We're going to have diplomats. We're going to have leaders. We're going to have young people. We're going to have the old. We're going to pull everything diplomatic out of them so they can share with us. Don't miss it. Register and be a part of it. And another exciting event that's coming up is in November. Somebody say November with me, wherever you are. In November, we have what we call the Gambia International Model United Nations. It is a simulation of the United Nations body. We want our young people to know who the UN are, what role they play in the world and in the countries where they are operating. I do make this joke that in African countries, the United Nations are the second president of each nation. In some of the African nations, the United Nations representatives are more prominent and more important than our presidents. We hear from them more often than we hear from our own presidents. That is how important and how powerful they are in our nation. So we need to know who they are. The reason our presidents are signing off our continent, signing off our destiny, is because they have no negotiation skills. They don't have negotiation skills. No one taught them that you can say no to the UN. No one taught them that you need to look at your country when ideas are presented to you. You don't have to just nod your head and say, yes, COVID vaccine. You could negotiate. You could say, no, our culture does not allow this and that. This is what we can do. This is what. But because there was no training, there was no diplomacy, no preparation, they are not able to have those kind of conversations. But you are not going to be that president. And you will not be that CEO. You will not be that minister. You will not be that parliamentarian that will just nod your head. You will speak up because you are being trained. So join us at the Gambia International Model United Nations coming up on November the 7th through the 9th in the Gambia. Wherever you are, you can join us there. So Jacob, those are the announcements. And if you are watching now or will watch later, and you are interested in being part of Coaches of Influence Foundation, our mentorship program is 9 months a year for 3 years, and it's beginning every year in February and ending in October. So we are wrapping up mentorship for 2024, but we are kicking off again in February. So you can go to our website today, coifoundation.org, and you can join. You can register. You can register to be part of this mentorship program. Let me tell you, a developed youth is an empowered youth. Don't mind people who are running around gathering certificates everywhere and plaques and awards and accolades and traveling. And we have some of our young people, they are living in suitcases right now, traveling everywhere all over the globe, and they're influential. They're posting on social media. But I'm telling you, there is a day coming, and it's coming very soon, that only those who have a solution will sit at the table. And I believe that you will be one of those people. So we want you to be equipped. We want you to be educated. We want you to be knowledgeable. Join our organization, and you will be trained to prepare for what is to come in this decade and beyond. Jacob, those are the announcements. Thank you, everyone, for having me as a host. We love you. We appreciate you. And I hand over to Jacob.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Margaret. For me, I can't really wait to be part of the TGI Moon come November. Yeah, thank you so much. All right, we are going to go right to Sadibou Saho. So Sadibou Saho is a youth leader within Coaches of Influence Foundation, and man, he is such a passionate and such an exceptional leader. Sadibou, you're welcome to do the closing prayer.
Hello, good afternoon from my end. Am I audible?
You are. Go ahead, please.
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'll go ahead and do the closing prayer. All right. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بمن شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلم تسليما. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.
Amen.
Thank
Amin,
you.
amin. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very
Thank you so
much,
much.
everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. And just like I promised, I guess we've all learned so much in today's event. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate all of you.
We love you. We love you. Thank you very much. You have a good weekend and see you around. Thank you very much for being here. Continue to share the video. Other people need to see it. Other people need to watch it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We love you. Have a good weekend. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.